Joe Rogan Podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
Braves, man.
Thank you, sir.
Looking good.
Wartime.
We up? King of Miami, what's up?
What's up, my brother?
Good to see you, man.
Always a fucking pleasure.
Always a pleasure to see you too, man. Bro, I've been a fan of yours since back in the day when I saw you fought Bodog.
Bodog. Snap.
Yeah, so you fought Eve Edwards on Bodog.
Yes,
I'm
I did.
Damn, this dude's fucking dangerous.
Yes, I did, man.
Yeah, you're still in the game, man. It's beautiful to see. You know, crafty veterans.
Yeah, man. I attribute a lot to like God with the gifts that I was born, and also the training that I do. I never get too far away from the training. And another thing is that I've kept it like natural for the most part. I've seen a lot of guys come in 4 or 5 years. They do a little bit of the enhancements and cheating, and then tear this, break that. So these guys ain't around no more. I just feel like I couldn't afford it when I was coming up, any of that stuff. So I just never did it, you know. So I've always kept like my body more or less healthy. I've had injuries that are horrible, obviously, in combat sports, but I've always just been able to like heal through them. And it always one thing I've always believed in for the sport, for anybody listening, wanting to get into the sport and have longevity, is like, as long as you know that every day you could learn something new from whoever it may be, you'll always be going forward. You know, the moment you think you know it all, that's it, bro. You fucked up, you know. So I've always had that mentality since I was young, and I still have it to this day. You know, a white belt could teach me something, or like a setup or something, not necessarily maybe the greatest technique, but just a different way to do a technique, and I might be able to pull it off. So I've always stuck firm to that commitment, you know.
Yeah, for sure. That's very important to have that beginner's mentality. You know, what is the worst injury you've ever had?
Like pain-wise, eye poke for back.
Yeah.
I shot like a high crotch, and the guy's elbow was like resting on his hip, and he just like locked out, and it went right into my thumb. His thumb went right into my eye, and I was throwing up immediately. Like 10 seconds after, I started throwing up, and I was doing like the Harlem Shake. I couldn't control my body. I was just shaking and throwing up. It was so much pain. After that, I had to wear an eye patch for about like 5 weeks because I had double vision. So I would like look at you and see like 2, 3 of you, and that would last it for like 5 weeks. So I was supposed to have surgery on it, and they scheduled me for surgery. I came back in, and the doctor's like, "Hey man, maybe you don't need surgery. You did amazing healing. Like swelling's gone down a little bit. You kind of don't need the surgery." So I was like, "Oh, let me not get the surgery." And I wore the eye patch for 5 weeks. That was the most painful injury of my life. The other ones have just been like long-lasting injuries. Like my hand is all fucking wrecked, you know. Back's pretty messed up, but I get through it, you know. Cold plunge, sauna, a lot of stretching, things like that. Like they're I could work through it, but the eye and the hand have been the worst, probably.
Did you break the hand?
No, but I've torn like numerous ligaments and tendons on the hand, you know. That's why my fingers look like they're throwing up gang signs, all crooked and stuff, you know. But yeah, that's been like one of the more lagging ones. And the knees and stuff, you know how the sport is.
Yeah.
Pulling on your joints, meniscus tear here, ACL there. But those I've been able to rehab and work through them. They suck like when I'm running or like on a cold day, but it's nothing that I can't work through. That the hand is like, sometimes I got to just give it a pause, like a week. I can't throw my right hand. I just got to use my left and stuff like that.
I remember when you got a meniscus injury, and I was worried about that, but you just rehabbed it?
Just rehab, man. I don't really like surgery, you know, and I've talked to a lot of other athletes that did do like the meniscus repair, and then it tore again, and then they were out for like 6 months. I was like, nah, it's not going to be me. So I've always focused on like rehab, get whoever's the best rehab person around at that time that I could find for that particular injury, and just get to work. And if after some time I'm not seeing any gains, and maybe I'll try some other stuff. And there's so many advances in the medical field now, like the stem cell, that's helped me out tremendously with my knees, giving me a full range of motion to be able to like squat all the way down. I was having trouble like breaking parallel once I'd have a little bit of weight on my back. I just feel crazy tension on my knees. Since the stem cell, I got like a full range of motion back on my knees, you know.
That's beautiful.
The hand as well.
Where did you go to get the stem cells?
The UFC sent me up for my hand. I went to California, and it was freaking amazing. It was right after the Nate Diaz fight. Both my hands were jacked, and on one of the blows I hit Nate with, I hit him in the top of the head, and you can see it on the video. My hand folds. I just kind of had like shitty technique for that one punch, and I couldn't even wipe my ass. I swear to you, bro. The pain that I had, it was just, I couldn't bend it in like that. I did the stem cells 3 weeks later. I was like, holy smokes, this is insane. And in my knees and hands, I did it in down in Colombia at Bio Accelerator. That was freaking a great time too.
That's the way to go. when you go to those other countries, whether it's Panama or Colombia, or they do it in Tijuana now too, it's like they can do shit that you can't do in America. They just load you up.
You get the full spectrum over there.
Yeah, and you just fucking heals everything. It's incredible. And it's great
crazy.
for stuff that you don't even know is wrong. You
Yeah.
know? It's great for just overall longevity and body healing.
I've heard they, I haven't done them because you know how you saw that is with us, but I've heard about the IV stem cells as well that are freaking great for you as well.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. It sucks that, you know, the IV thing is an issue. But, you know, it's, I mean, you don't cut a ton of weight. I mean, you used to fight at 55.
Yeah, 55,
at 70.
I was a ton of weight, a ton of water weight because my body fat. I lived a different life there, very strict diet for like, I had to, once I turned like 25, 26, I had to have like proper notice, like 9 weeks notice to get myself in shape, to come in on fight week at like 174, to drop down to 156. And right around like 172, 173, I was 5% body fat already. So it was just straight water and it was fucking torturous. And then USADA, when I decided to move up, USADA came in the game and outlawed the IVs for us, right? So I was like, there's no way I can make 155, and that's when I made my move to 70.
But it's been phenomenal for you at 70. I think you're better at 70. I really believe because you're just stronger and healthier.
I didn't have the pop at 155 after I turned 26, 27, which usually a man loses his strength and power at the end of his career, you know? And it was like a month before the fight, I'd be hurting people in sparring. As I got nearer to the fight, I didn't have that electricity, that pop, you know?
Right.
So I really started to like, man, fuck, you know, it's something I'm going to have to do, and it was in the back of my mind. But I would always work out with 70-pounders and like 45-pounders. At American Top Team, we had a lot of standouts at 155, so I would work out with them as well. But I was like, we might have to cross paths, so I didn't make it like my main staple to work out with those guys. So I knew that there was a strength level difference at me at 170, but I knew I could hurt those guys when I'd touch them, you know, every time. So I knew if I could work on my strength gains and get a little size, I'd be all right at 70.
Oh, well, look at the Darren Till knockout.
Yes, sir.
That was fucking phenomenal.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder how many fighters are cutting their career short by dehydrating the shit out of themselves.
It's rough. You know, when you're young, you get away with it. Always. Your body, you could get run over by a truck and you wake up the next day, but there comes a point where you kind of just lose that, you know? And I don't care how young you are, your chin, once you cut over like 12, 13, 14 pounds of water, your chin and legs take a massive hit, I feel.
Yeah, that's why I'm
Reflexes
amazed that Pereira, who's walks around like 40 pounds heavier than 185. I mean, he's fucking huge.
Yeah. But usually the big boys also could have more water to release, you know, the 205ers, the 85ers, the heavyweights. But yeah, that guy's massive. I've seen pictures of him off season. I'm like, holy smokes. He looks like a fucking small heavyweight at times.
When he gets into the octagon at 185, you can't believe he ever weighed 185.
Yeah.
He's so fucking big.
Yeah.
It's a giant advantage, but I wonder how long he can do that. He's like 34 now, you know.
Yeah.
I wonder how long his body's going to allow him to dehydrate the shit out of himself like that.
It catches up, I think, man.
Yeah, well, he's already talked about going to 205.
Nice.
So you got a big fight coming up. You're mid-camp.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming down, man.
Hell yeah, bro.
So, Gilbert, that's a good fight.
It's a great fight, man. I think wrestling is not that good, so I know I could negate him on the wrestling takedowns and just keep it stand-up. And stand-up, he makes a lot of mistakes constantly, I feel, you know, just looking at it from a striker's point of view. I feel he's like tailor-made for me to give him a fucking left hook to the jaw and end his night, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's an exciting fight, and Gilbert's a fucking dangerous man. So it's the co-main event in Miami. It's going to be
20 years they ain't been in Miami.
Woo! That's going to be wild. Just the moment when you get into that fucking octagon, the pop that you get, it's going to be insane.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In Miami?
In Miami. In Miami.
Whoa!
And forever the road has been my home, so I've always felt comfortable. Like, okay, we're going to fight Abu Dhabi, Fight Island, cool. We're going to fight California, Texas, cool. I've always felt great. So definitely it's going to be like a little bit more added pressure, a little different being in my actual home, you know.
But you're going to wake up in your own bed.
I'm going to wake up in my own bed. That is true. I'm going to take a drive from my house to the arena in my car. You know, it's all going to be like if I'm going to sparring, but a little bit more added chips to it, you know.
For sure. Yeah, it's an exciting time for the welterweight division too. You know, with you having that beef with Leon, and Leon now having retained the title, and they're talking about Colby. But I feel like with a good showing against Gilbert,
skip Kobe's
you
bitch
skip
ass right
the
away.
line.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
it becomes.
And Leon wants it, more than anything.
sure.
He wants it more than anything. Just for the history that we have, and also we're gonna sell the most pay-per-views if me and him are in that cage.
It'll sell a lot.
Yeah.
It'll sell a lot. It'll be a big fight. It's going to be a gigantic fight. What did you think about the rematch, the rubber fight with Leon and Kamaru?
Little lackluster, and Usman, maybe like there was times where I didn't see him like stepping on the gas like he usually does, and it might have been because he just took this fight too early. I always think that when a fighter gets knocked out, you really, and I got this from like the old timers in boxing, you need to really let your brain and your confidence like heal and come back, because then you get back in and you get touched and you're like, whoa, I might get knocked out, and you pull the brakes and you start like, maybe second guessing yourself. So I think maybe he took it a little bit too early. I do think that he's in a way better fighter than Leon in a lot of aspects, but Leon just has his number, it seems, right now.
Well, Leon was also super confident coming into that fight. I feel like once a guy becomes the champion, they gain confidence and they gain ability because they just have this understanding of what they're capable of doing, and the fact that it was in England, I mean, it was
and he had the title, and he knocked him out. So it's like
all the above.
A lot of factors. You just don't know how a guy's gonna come back after his first KO loss, and it was a bad one. It was a brutal one. Usman was down for a bit.
How long after the Kamaru fight did you take off?
Close to like 8 to 9 months, almost maybe even longer. All my coaches wanted me. Plus, it was like the first KO of my career. So more so on like not my body was already healed, my brain, but they wanted to make sure that my mind was right.
Yeah. How long did it take you to get over it?
I still haven't got over it, brother. I want to fucking rip Usman's fucking brains out, nothing personal. I just want to get back in there and do it to him, I've never been knocked out, and I've fought a lot, we were talking about earlier, Yves Edwards, like I fought great strikers, and they never even came close to knocking me out. And it's not the diss Usman, but I don't put him in the league of one of these great strikers. He's a great fighter because he could do a lot of things well. But after fighting him the first time, and getting his best shots, and I cut 20 pounds of water, and I took the fight in 6-day notice, and I went to Abu Dhabi. I was like, bro, this guy will never hurt me. Like, he hits like a bitch, and then all of a sudden, he's the dude that knocks me out. I had 5 rounds with him. So in that, I think it was 9 months since the first fight, that he gained that type of power was just nuts to me. It was like unreal, unnatural, because I felt his fucking best punches in the first fight for 5 rounds and never hurt me, never like shook me up good, And then boom, surprise hit in the second fight. So
do you think it was a matter of you not respecting his power, and on top of that, him just getting better?
I always respect anybody who has 2 hands and 2 feet. So it's not like I'm trying to do the touch me in the chin and I'll give a shot to take a shot. Definitely caught me by surprise when he started to load up. I kind of saw like the back of his head, so I thought for sure he's gonna shoot. So I started to like drop my hands. Then I noticed like midway, oh, it's a right hand. I tried to check hook him, but it's too late already. That the right hand had already penetrated the force field and took my ass out.
Yeah, it's a moment that happens to many fighters, and it defines who they are, how they bounce back from it.
Yeah.
Oh,
and I'm coming strong, man. I feel my mind after that fight, maybe I'm not gonna lie, I went into like a dark place for a while because like I said, I'd never been knocked out. It was just fucking nuts to me. Like, bro, this guy's the one that fucking literally knocked me out. Like, I was out cold. It wasn't like you stopped it early or nothing. I know in my heart of hearts this guy fucking knocked me out, and for me to think Usman's the one that knocked me out, I never would have betted that this guy would knock me out. So it affected me, bro, bad. You know what I'm saying?
Do you ever go to a sports psychologist?
I just listen to Jordan Peterson a lot, bro. On YouTube, man. That's my dude right there for many, many years. I've never got to meet him. I haven't got the chance, but I'm actually, by coincidence, he's in Florida April 9th, and I'm like doing everything in my power to make sure that I'm there. Like right after my fight, I'm gonna go. He's gonna have a conference down in.
I'll connect you guys.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, I'll connect you guys.
Oh yeah,
for sure. He's
gonna be in
guy.
Florida, so I was like, bro, I gotta go there. I just want to sit in the crowd and listen to this dude. I've been listening to him for years on like YouTube and stuff, and I listen to a lot of motivational speakers and stuff. Sports psychologists, I've never really like seen one personally, but I'm sure it would help.
Yeah, it certainly can help, but Jordan is essentially giving you sports psychology. He's giving you like life lessons.
And not just sports. I think for me, I have like a lot of bad habits that I had from like growing up, you know, and the way that I did that I took into the pro world, and I was still succeeding, you know. I was let's say I stayed up all night for whatever reason was. I was either chasing money or chasing chicks, and then I went to sleep at 4 a.m. and I woke up at 9 a.m. and I went to the gym at 10 and I beat everybody's ass in that room. And I'm like, I don't have to change nothing, you know. And I went on to beat numerous good guys, challenge for world titles outside of the UFC, and I was doing really good. So part of me was like, this is just me. I'm just this person, you know. But that wasn't the best version of me. You know, and like little by little, I've had to like tear layers off me and like, hey, this is no good. And every time I've done that and I've found out something maybe was holding me back, I've been able to get to like the next level. So it's good to hear somebody like Jordan that addresses and like, bro, you're a pussy, bro. If you can't let this go, he tells you how it is. It's like, this is why, and blah, 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 blah. So I like it like that, like straight raw, like just tell me the truth, you know. So I feel that for me personally, not just in the sports, but in like my life in general, like finding those things that hold me back in many things, you know, from on the personal side that I could bring into the professional, and then it's like it makes all the sense in the world, you know. Like, let's say I stop eating Domino's pizza now for like a month or whatever junk food I was like binging on, and then I see like results and stuff. It's like, man, I just got to change my whole lifestyle, not just before the fight, but year round, you know. And those are the things where I like struggle, and I've been working on a lot, you know.
That's the problem, I think, with really talented guys, is that you can kind of get away without being disciplined.
Yeah.
And you don't realize that if you were disciplined, you'd be one of the greats.
Yeah. And it's like I have the discipline to make it to the gym under 3 hours of sleep or 10 hours of sleep. I'm gonna make it to the practice. The coach is always gonna check my name out. I'm always just gonna show up to practice. But was it the fucking absolute best version of me showing up to that practice? Many times not, especially when I was younger, man. And just because in that room, whatever particular room I was in, I was always like a standout or one of the better guys, I was like, bro, I don't got to change nothing, bro. And then, you know.
I remember there was a video that the UFC put out. I think the UFC put it out. It was younger you, were just playing video games all night and just like.
Definitely.
And everybody was like laughing about this.
Yeah.
That's what he does.
Yeah. And, you know, since I want to say like 17 years old, I started sleeping like 5 hours a day just because I couldn't get more than that. I'd lay in bed. I could go to sleep at 10 a.m. and I'd just wake up like at 5, 6 a.m. wired. So I started pushing those boundaries, like, well, then I'd go to sleep at 3 in the morning. I'll wake up at like 9, just fine. I woke up at 10, fine, and I did that for a large part, and I felt good, you know. But with age, though, can't do that no more. Nowadays, I get like my 5 cycles of an hour and a half at least minimum, you know. If not, I feel it nowadays, you know. And this started happening to me when I was like 34, 35. Like, it took a while for it to hit me. Now, sleep is top 3 priority for me. It never used to be. It used to be like, I'll take a nap if I'm that tired or something like that. Nowadays, it's like, man, I need my good sleep if I'm going to get a good workout in, you know?
Yeah, it's good that you're aware of that. Some people never learn that lesson. Sleep is everything. It is everything. Your body recovers during sleep, and also your mind recovers. I mean, just to know that you're well rested when you're getting up and getting through the day, you just know you got a full battery.
I never even believed in that. I was like, man, that's just motherfuckers being pussy. So what do you need? What do you mean you need 8 hours of sleep? What you need is sleep when you die. That used to be like a common thing. You know, everybody around me would always say, like, sleeping's for the birds or for dead people. And I really, like, kind of just embodied that. Like, man, I don't need to sleep to go training. Now it's the complete opposite. I'm trying to clock in as many hours on a consistent basis leading up. But this is not just now for this fight camp. I've been trying to implement that for like the last 2 years of my life, you know.
Well, I think that's something that, you know, it's a part of what makes fighters great, is they have that incredible confidence and they don't give a fuck and they think they're different.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Arrogance?
all the great. Yeah, a little bit of that. I mean, look at that's John Jones in a nutshell, right? I mean, one of the funniest fucking lines ever was when John was talking to DC at the press conference. He was like, I beat you when I was doing coke.
Yeah. A whole night, a weekend of cocaine or something like that. But that guy's just like, you talk about uber talent. That guy's like
on another level.
Next level shit.
Next
man.
level.
I mean, fuck. And he happens to be fucking mean. There's a lot of talented guys. Sometimes they're not like the meanest guy. This guy's mean as it fucking gets, you know?
Yeah, that's everything.
Yeah.
That's everything. And it's just all the above. Genetics, discipline, intelligence, game planning. Mm-hmm. I mean, nobody game plans like John.
Yeah, I've heard he's a student of the game. Studious, watching film every day, all day long. Like, that is so much discipline, you know, like he's wired that into the system. That's who he is. There's a lot of fighters that just don't watch any tape, period, you know.
Do you watch a lot of tape on guys?
I'll watch, I'm I'll watch at different stages, and then my coaches will keep breaking down stuff, and they'll show it to me. I don't watch tape like every day, but I do go on like segments. Like tonight, I saw somebody for like 2 hours, and I just keep that in my brain, and I'll try to bring that to sparring. Like these are the game plans, right, that I read in my head. Like, I think so and so is a sucker for this, and that, and then I bring that into sparring. I try to emulate it. And the guys, obviously, that I bring into sparring are not the guy I'm going to fight, but they're supposed to be, very similar style, something like that. So I know if it starts working on them, then I'm like one step away from bringing it into mass production and bringing it to the world. So that's kind of how I do it. I just also don't want to look at somebody all day long because I want to focus on me and my strengths as well. I want to be aware of their strengths and what they're good at and what positions I don't want to be involved with them. But I'm worried about me,
Yeah, no, I understand. Are you 36 now?
38.
38. Whoa,
38
you look good.
Let's go.
You look good. How much longer do you think you got in the game?
That's a question that I got the answer to it. I'm at American Top Team. I feel the best gym in the fucking world. We have numerous established killers right now, and we have another world of guys coming up, of young, hungry talent that nobody knows of, that are just fucking killers. And I've always felt like when I come into the gym and I can't hang with the pack, when I can't, do around with, so-and-so, and then after that go with so-and-so and so-and-so, and I'm getting the worser end of it consistently, I'll call it quits, because I don't want to be a stepping stone for nobody. I've been in the sport for 20 years. So when I get into American Top Team, I'm working out with the best of the best. I truly feel in my heart that the best middleweight right now, his name is Johnny Eblen. He's at Bellator.
Yeah. He's a bad motherfucker.
Oh, this guy could wrestle. This guy could punch. This guy could kick. He's just a beast. And like we've been sharpening iron, me and him, forever. And there's days that he fucking runs me over. There's days that I do very well, that I hold my own, and we have great sessions. So the times that I start to just get the worser end of the sessions, it's time for me to hang it up. I don't need to go in the ring to find out. Once I can't keep up with the pack no more, I know my time has come, and it's gonna hurt like fuck, because this is all I've known. This is my first, my last love. This is my everything. But at the same time, I'm not gonna do a disservice to my body and let guys beat me that could have never held my jockstrap probably during my prime. So that'll be when I call it quits. Once the gym is telling me like, hey, your time has come, I'm cool with it. I'll just fucking gracefully bow out.
Well, that's a great situation to be in, where you still have the love, but you're also aware that there's a reality of just your biological limits.
Yeah, and it's gonna happen to all of us. Maybe it might be something. Randy Couture was fighting to 44, 45 years old.
Yeah, crazy.
He was doing it big.
Also pre-USADA.
Yeah, pre-USADA.
A little bit different. Yeah. Those days would be
Sylvester
different.
Stallone strand, I think it was called. Yeah.
Well, listen, fucking Vitor changed his whole fucking world when TRT was in. All of a sudden, Vitor was I think TRT Vitor was one of the greatest fighters of all time.
Most dangerous, you could say.
Oh my God, he was so confident. When he fought Luke Rockhold and hit him with a wheel kick, I'm like, what the fuck? You never even seen Vitor throw wheel kicks before.
The speed, the power, like something. He turns into like a mutant when there's certain things involved in his body. He's like a fucking
pharmacological intervention. A lot of shit gets going. I kind of wish they'd bring it back. I really do, because there's something about the veterans. They have the mind. Like, that was the thing with Vitor. They had this wealth of I first saw Vitor fight in 1997. I was training the same gym as him because I was at Carlson Gracie's in L.A. and he was 19. And, and we all knew, like, God damn, he was a fucking athlete. Crazy athlete.
And he was a
speed
black belt.
Yeah.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was knocking people dead.
Yeah, no one expected that. When they first saw him fight, like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt under Carlson Gracie, everybody's like, oh, he's going to take guys down and submit them. And he was just lighting people up. Trey Telligman, Scott Ferozzo won the tournament at 19. Everybody was like, holy
Silva.
shit. Oh, ran through Vanderlei.
And then Vanderlei went on that crazy streak of pride, so it just elevated the fuck out of Vitor. Like, damn. And Vitor did that to him, holy smoke.
I kind of wish they'd let people do whatever the fuck they want to do. Well, other organizations are very lax.
Or just like make it like even playing field for everybody, because it's just like USADA oversees the Americans a lot harder than a lot of these other countries that they can't even get into, you know. And,
Oh, yeah,
and
they're
fight,
not traveling
you know?
to the mountains of Dagestan to give people piss tests.
You know, so it's just like, man, just make it fair for everybody. If I'm getting tested 20 times a year,
Right.
so-and-so and so-and-so and social should also be getting tested 20 times a year, you know?
Yeah. Well, the worst shit is like you hear stuff from like Volkanovski. They wake him up at like 6 o'clock in the morning the day before the fight.
Yeah,
Insane.
I've
Cut
had
and
those.
weight.
Yeah, my last camp, it was the same shit. It just doesn't make sense. They came on a Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday at between 5:15 and like 6:30 in the morning to my fucking house.
3 days in a row?
3 days in a row.
Just to make sure.
And it's like, what? Well, how
Why?
about my sleep, bro? You
Yeah.
guys just right. Like I usually get up like around 8 in the morning. I'm out the door by like 9:15. Like I have a schedule, and this is like a week before a fight. You guys are just wrecking my shit because now I'm gonna go back to sleep, and like, or I'm gonna stay up now. It's just
Fucks up your day. You could get hurt at training because of that, because you're tired. You get caught with something maybe you shouldn't have got caught with.
I get it maybe like one time, but they literally showed up 3 times in my crib like that, you know?
Why do you think they do that? Like someone tell them like maybe you're doing something? Like what they think they're being slick? Like that's just stupid.
I don't think before that I had gotten tested throughout, you know, my career, maybe like once or twice around those times. And then it had been a while where they were just coming in at a regular time. Like I'd get to the gym, they're waiting for me. I wake up 7:15, 7:30, they're there, you know, maybe a couple afternoon later shifts at the gym again, and that's all understandable, you know. Or even catch me right now when I get off the plane at the airport, cool. But you know,
Don't
on
wake people up.
Sunday,
Yeah.
on a Sunday they came. I wanted to let my fucking dogs loose on them, you know. And I got a big old fucking gate. I was hoping they would have just jumped that gate because my dogs would have ate them alive, man. You know.
It's so stupid.
Yeah,
It makes me furious. It really does. The fact that they did that to fighters that are like the day before a title fight. All the things you have to worry about. Like if they want to test someone, test them at fucking 1 in the afternoon. Test them when they're done training. Test them before they train. Do whatever the fuck you got to do to make sure they're not cheating, but don't interrupt their sleep.
And more so than anything, I think it's consistency, right? Like if you're testing me, I get it, it's random, but if you're testing me 20 times and my opponent got tested 4 times, what the fuck is that? You know?
What the fuck is that?
Let's make it fair on all sides. It should be a minimum, I think, of everybody should get tested like 30 times a fucking year, right?
Yeah.
And then certain guys that they're already like, hey, I think this guy, okay, fucking double it for that guy. Make it 60, but everybody should be at a baseline of getting tested a shitload amount of times.
I think it's good that the UFC did something, but I think ultimately what they did is a little bit of overkill. And it just, like, particularly the IVs for rehydration, I just don't. I know that they're saying that it can mask performance-enhancing drugs,
But that's
well,
if you
test them before they get an IV. There's ways to test. Like it's healthier for the fighter to
Way
have an
healthier,
IV.
you know. So
It's really healthier for the fighter if what they really should do. And I've been saying this forever, and I know it's hard to do, but they should outlaw weight cutting. They should figure out a way where fighters fight at their natural, make more weight classes and have fighters fight at a natural weight. You're talking about you're about to fucking go to war for 5 rounds in a cage 24 hours after you're almost dead, which is really what happens to a lot of these guys.
It's like running a marathon in the desert. That's what I used to feel like, man. I'd be just sucking water, no calories, no nothing. And then you get in there and you're kind of like a shell of yourself, you know. But I do agree with you that there is some components that they could, you know, monitor your weight during the training camp. What's the heaviest you got? What's the lightest you got? Come up with an average of that. Then, hey, you can't weigh more than 190 on fight day. If not, pay a fine or I don't know what the fuck.
Well, ONE FC is trying to do something like that, but I heard that one of their events, like 8 fighters missed weight, which is fucking crazy. You know, because
they have a hydration test as well.
Yeah, I don't even understand it. I mean, I know they do that with college wrestling. I know they do hydration tests, but
I don't really agree with those either, though. You know, if I did cut more water than the next guy and I still made the weight, the fuck, let me compete. You know,
right? Yeah, I mean, Gervonta Davis has he has a clause,
10 pounds or something.
Yeah, with Ryan, where he can't weigh more than a certain amount after the weigh-in, which is
a little. Yeah.
Kind of bitch ass.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Like, what do you care what he weighs, right?
Yeah, like you made.
Who do you got in that fight?
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm a giant Gervonta fan. I think he's super fucking talented, but Ryan has that left hook. That left hook is preposterous.
He's got the reach on him too.
That left hook is so fast. Like he catches guys in exchanges, you don't even see it land.
Yeah.
but it's mostly left hook.
Yeah.
You know, I know he has a right hand, he uses it, but his left hook is just so, that style that he uses, using that reach and just whipping that left hook, it's
Boom.
very unusual.
And his speed is way above natural. Like he's really up there with the hand speed. But so is Gervonta, and especially in the pocket. I mean,
Gervonta in the pocket's a monster.
oh my god, he reminds me like a little Tyson.
He's short and he conserves his punches. Where, you know, like the first few rounds, he throws very few punches.
He's just measuring. He's a computer, man.
Yep.
He's just getting the data on you, faking you, taking pictures of everything you do, and then like round 3, round 4, he starts to fucking he's dialed in. He's slipping, pop, pop, pop.
He's got special power too. His power's special.
And he's mean too as well.
Oh
man.
yeah, mean is a big part of it, isn't it?
I think having that dog, being mean is like the biggest part in it. You know,
Really?
in being a fighter. Yeah, because you could be a great athlete. One day you're gonna come across another great athlete. You know, it's who's got more dog in him.
Do you think Wonder Boy's mean? I think he's secretly mean.
It has to be. You know? He's very, very, very competitive. You know, he's the nicest dude.
Yeah.
One of the coolest guys, and a for real nice guy. Like I've met him numerous times off camera, just me and him chilling, and the dude's genuinely like a good dude, you know. But once he gets in there, he's hyper competitive. He wants to win at all costs. He's gonna put himself at harm's risk to make sure he gets that W, man. I've always liked Wonder Boy, man.
I couldn't believe Kevin Holland decided to have a kickboxing fight with him. I couldn't believe Kevin Holland, they made a deal, no going to the ground. He's like, let's just stand up. Like, what are you saying?
I don't think Holland was going to take him down anyways.
Well, I think you would try. I mean,
probably would have been worse.
Fantastic jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah,
Holland's
but the wrestling,
yeah,
and that is like one of the things that drains people. You know, he might have got stopped early if he went for a takedown, and I think that's kind of what hurt Izzy in the Pereira fight, putting those takedowns up there. It takes a lot of gas. If you haven't been doing that for a lifetime, wrestling is one of the most draining things for the energy tank.
Without a doubt. I think with Izzy though, like he talked about that left leg getting compromised, the calf kicks. You know, I mean, Pereira landed like 6 calf kicks in that first round, like hard ones. Calf kick changed the fucking. Do you remember when the calf kick came into the game?
Yeah.
It was Benson Henderson was the guy who first started using it, but it wasn't as effective for some reason. It's like other guys started using it and stopping people with it.
I think you're right. Benson.
He was one of the first guys.
I think he chopped up Nate with him pretty damn good. Yeah, I use him a lot. I remember I used him a lot for my KJ Noons fight. I used him a ton to chop him up because he's a big boxer. So I chopped his leg down with the calf kick, just boom, constantly going through he'd throw like a left hook, pop. I chopped the calf, he'd throw a jab, I chopped the calf, and that threw him off. I remember his balance because he started like kind of second guessing me and not putting as much pressure. But big believer of the calf kick. You know, I felt it and I was like, this is it right here. You know,
it's horrible.
Yeah, and your leg is so much bigger, so much fucking more muscle. You could take the hit there. The one calf kick hits that nerve stem and it like fucking shoots up to your brain, and you're like, well, don't take no more of those, you know?
It's amazing because to the average person, they don't even know what happened. Like, they see a guy get calf kicked, and the guy's still moving, and they feel like nothing happened. But meanwhile, that guy who got kicked is like, oh, shit. Like, you got a poker face, but that leg is fucked. Fucked. And then, bam, if someone hits it again, bang, they hit it again. Like, oh, no, and then you're in trouble.
Then they switch stances, and then you know, like, oh, he got him.
Yep, he got him. Yeah.
And you're always calling. I could always see when you're calling. He's like, yep, that calf kick hurt. He's switching stance. Guaranteed it hurt, you know?
Well, when you're up close, too, you can see the calf swelling up. Like, guys' calves will swell up, like, immediately.
Easy. And it's not that big. Like, it's big, but in, like, kickboxing and Muay Thai, it wasn't like a...
I know, it's crazy.
It was more like a MMA thing. And then now, though, I'm seeing it more and more in Thai boxing now. But it wasn't like maybe 15 years ago. It wasn't like a big thing in kickboxing or Muay Thai, you know?
No, it's very interesting. I'm trying to figure out why. I guess like a lot of the Thai guys, they fight with that light front leg, you know, and they check a lot of kicks, and they're accustomed to it. But I think it's a stance. It's a, you know, because you might shoot and because you might have to sprawl, there's like a little bit more weight on that leg, and then, you know, I don't know.
Right. Definitely for that.
It changes a lot.
And there's so much options in MMA, you know. You're just worried about strikes in combat. Here you're worried about a clinch, a takedown, somebody dropping guard, you know.
I mean, I love all combat sports, but there's no comparison. MMA is where it's at. Yeah. It's the best.
What's your second favorite?
Muay Thai.
Muay Thai.
I love Muay Thai.
I love Muay Thai.
Yeah, I love Muay Thai.
Who's your favorite Thai fighter?
Man, I mean, Saenchai, you got to go with Saenchai because he's been around so long and he's still fucking people up at like 37 years old.
And the grace that he does.
Oh, my God. And the style's so different than everybody else's. He's light on his feet and he throws kicks with no telegraph. Like a lot of these guys, they're like power guys. They're plodding forward like Rod Tang. Oh,
my gosh.
But, Saenchai is just light on his feet. Everything's shuffling and moving quick. He's very different. Like, there's no one like him.
Since I started watching Saenchai, I was like, man, what makes him so special? And I would really like dig into it because he's obviously like Michael Jordan of Muay Thai, And I think one of the things that makes him so special is his ability to take you off your feet at any moment. So that, like, I see him fighting guys and they immediately change styles when they're fighting him. They might be like a little looser and then they get swept off their feet. And now they're just like, their balance got compromised. And that's a huge thing. Like, you kick and then I put you on your neck and shoulders, you're going to rethink everything, man. And I think he's like the best at fucking manipulating your balance and sending you flying across the ring. And I've seen it do it to like great boxers, great kickboxers, great Thai guys. They lose all sense of like where they're at and stuff. Once you're flying through the air and you get back and now you're kind of like a shell of yourself. Now you're like, I don't want to get fucking swept again. And then boom, a left. And then boom, a kick. And then boom, you get swept again.
Yep.
Bro, it's fucking insane, bro.
Yeah, I agree. The sweeps that's a big key to his game, and also the angles. I remember there's one KO where he hops to the side and jumping roundhouse kicks that dude in the face.
Where he like did the taekwondo.
I mean, this motherfucker is just his timing and his ability to like shit like that. I mean, look at that. I mean, what the fuck? What a crazy angle. His angles. And when you look at him, too, one of the things I like about him, like, he's not an impressive-looking dude.
No, he's not like the fittest physical specimen. But
and he's fighting guys way bigger than him all the time. He's always fighting guys bigger than him.
His fights with no gloves, fucking love.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
those.
With the ropes. Yeah. Saenchai is a motherfucker, dude. And seems like one of the nicest, most playful dudes. Like, when you see him working out and sparring in the gym, he's a fun dude.
Playful till that bell rings, I think.
Yeah, but it's just that,
Boom.
like right there, look at this, the sweeps, man. It's just that style is so different than anybody else's style. It's really kind of amazing that none of the young guys are emulating him. Because traditionally, when you see Thai guys fight, they fight and they look like a Thai fighter. Yeah. He looks like another thing, like another kind of thing, another evolution of it.
I hope in his next lifetime it's just MMA for him. Could you imagine that guy doing,
imagine?
Like, he would have done Thai boxing until like 14, 15, then got brought into MMA at that age with a great camp. Oh, my goodness.
Well, that element is one of the elements that I feel like is missing in MMA is the sweeps. Like, there's just very few guys that are that good at sweeps, from the standing position in MMA. Most of the takedowns we see in MMA come off singles and doubles and trips. You don't see it like that, like what he does.
No. Not that many. One of the ones that I love is he'll throw like that high kick, then he'll fake the high kick and completely get behind you, and then you see him flare, guys. And those are the things that like shut you out, because now if you're worried about the sweep, you're gonna get kicked. Whether it's in your head or your arm, you're gonna start getting kicked, and nobody does it like him, man.
Yeah, that's one of the beautiful things about watching a great Muay Thai fighter like him, is that for someone who appreciates it, there's so many levels to what he's doing. He's setting up so many levels. There's so many different things going on simultaneously that you have to compensate for when you're fighting him.
Best teep too in the game.
Oh, yeah. He hops forward and hits you in the face with it.
One of my favorite guys also, I can't pronounce his name. I don't even want to try to, because then he's going to kick my butt. I'm going to butcher it. But he's Olympic gold medalist in boxing, and he's like a 3-time Lumpini champion.
I know who you're talking about, and I can't pronounce his name either.
Yeah, bro, but that guy was another serial killer, bro. Like,
oh, yeah.
Just stand, because to have head movement, I think, in Thai boxing, like to stay in the pocket, do this, and dodge kicks, that's next level shit, and this guy would do it to everybody, man.
I'm a giant fan of his, but I'm also, if I had one fighter that I'm going to watch tape on, just for pure inspiration, it's Ramon Dekkers.
Oh.
Woo! Ramon Dekkers in his prime, what a fucking destroyer that guy was. That guy smashed his ankle so bad they had to fuse his ankle, and the doctor told him, listen, man, you got to stop kicking with this thing. And he's like, yeah, tape it up. Shut the fuck up. Bam, like right away. Bop. Like in the end of his career, his ankles didn't move. Like his foot was like stuck there forever.
That you gotta be so fucking like so mentally
Yeah.
rough, you know. So because we've seen everybody that has like a shin break in MMA and comes back. It's just, and you can't blame him, man. Am I gonna, the next kick is gonna snap off? So
Yeah.
for somebody to have that commitment is fucking nuts. Like me personally, I would be like, okay, time to adapt. I'm gonna become a puncher now, bro.
Yeah. Well,
know?
doesn't Tyron Spong, doesn't he train sometimes at ATT? He's been there before, right?
No. He's more at Stanford. I think
Stanford.
I've
Yeah.
had the pleasure of meeting Tyrone, a fucking beast. I've met him a couple times. But no, he's not at ATT.
When he broke his leg, he was kind of never the same again. I mean, he had a real bad one with Gokhan Saki. Same as like Chris Weidman, same as Anderson Silva. That same kind of break. Would check a kick, smack. Like it just snapped in half.
He's doing well in boxing though.
Yes,
I
very
think he's
well in
gonna-
boxing.
I would love to see that guy grab a belt for us, man. You know,
Yeah, it would be
kickboxer,
amazing.
MMA dude, and he's like unreal power. Since he was at 168 pounds, I saw his whole career of the heavyweight, like unreal fucking power, bro.
Yeah.
Insane, good reflexes, good timing, you know. Just fucking, I would love to see him get a belt in fucking boxing, man.
There's that one amazing KO where he's fighting that tall white dude, and the guy catches him in the first
early,
round,
yeah,
drops
yeah,
him,
yeah.
and then he measures him. The dude's wailing on him. He measures him, bang!
And it's over.
Flatlines him.
Over, bro.
Yeah, the dude, he gets up, and then he sits back down like,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
It's over.
There's guys that are like just born with that next level
Yeah.
power. He's one of them, bro.
You don't see very many guys bouncing back from that shin break and doing well in MMA again. Anderson, it was kind of the end of his career when he broke his shin. I mean, it was Chris Weidman, we haven't seen him back yet. Connor, we haven't seen him back yet. I don't know what's even going to happen. Here it is.
Yeah.
Boom!
Okay.
I mean, that dude got up and he was like, hang on, what the fuck is going on here? Oh, I'm
You
gonna
know
sit
what?
down.
Never mind.
Yeah. He realized like something's very wrong. The way he measured him too. Just that straight left. Bang! Oh my goodness.
And look how composed Tyrone stays. His hands
Oh,
are up,
yeah.
shoulders are up. He's taking these hits. He's like, I got you.
And he got dropped like
Mm-hmm.
seconds into the fight. Like it was one of the first punches that dude threw. Yeah, Tyrone's a bad motherfucker.
He was
He's
supposed to fight some big boxing fights.
Is he?
No, he was supposed. I
He
know
was,
yeah.
and then something happened. I don't know. I remember what happened, but he got pulled out of the fight, and then dude wound up fighting somebody else. But they were setting him up for someone big. I forget who it was.
Usyk, I think.
Oh,
yeah, and that one
that's
ended
right.
up falling through. Some stuff happened, you know.
That's too bad. That would have been very interesting.
I would love to get him on my promotion against some of these big boxers that we've been talking to. I would love to do like Andy Ruiz versus.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So tell me about your promotion because you've got a big card coming up. Tell me
April
about
1st.
that. It's very exciting.
Tickets available on Ticketmaster. I gotta go full promoter on you, Joe.
Yeah, go full promoter.
Pay-per-view.
Yeah.
On demand.
Yeah.
Comcast, all that linear pay-per-view stuff. And if you want the digital rights, only the second time in history that the UFC partners up with like a boxing promotion. The first time was Conor Mayweather. So you could also buy the pay-per-view through UFC Fight Pass.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, and it's Roy Jones Jr.
And Anthony Pettis.
Anthony Pettis.
Woo.
Jose Aldo versus Jeremy Stevens boxing.
Woo!
I think that's gonna be the fight of the night. You know, I could be wrong because there's some other good matches. Then Vitor Belfort, the guy we just talking about, versus Jacare. Who you got
Oh
in that
my
one?
God.
Who you got
oh
in
my
that one?
God. Wow.
The
Look
Pfizer
at that.
the Pfizer Forum, Milwaukee Bucks Arena.
I like it. I'm very interested in Jones versus Pettis. How long has Roy been training for this?
Well, my good friend, the one that helped, because as we were setting up the card, Dean Toole, which is my matchmaker and helps me set up everything, was like, I think I could get Roy Jones to fight for us. And my mind, I was like, yeah, I'm sure, bro. Yeah, Roy Jones, you talking about Roy Jones Jr.? It's like, yeah, man, because he's from Pensacola and he's known Roy for a while. He's like, Roy's been training for a while. No, people don't know, but he's been training. Like he constantly trains, and he trains. He was training Eubanks, so he told me that the whole training camp with Eubanks, he was training alongside him. And like he's in pretty damn good shape, better shape that I've seen him in a while, and he's been wanting to fight. So I think we might be able to pull this off. I was like, nah, I don't believe this is Roy Jones Jr. It's like, yeah, I think I get Roy Jones Jr. to fight. So we started making calls. You know, we had a couple big names. Actually, for a while it was gonna be Roy Jones Jr. He had already signed the contract versus Donald Cerrone. Oh, you know, yeah, we were really excited about that one. And Donald Cerrone got a huge project coming up, so I don't
Movies?
even want to talk about it. Something
Donald's
like
gonna be a
that.
fucking movie star.
Oh, I feel it, bro. I believe it, bro. He's got
Yeah,
the look.
he's
He's
got
got
the
the
look.
character, bro.
Got
He's
hair
the-
transplants now. Now he's
Yeah,
jacked.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
I think
220
gonna-
pounds
yeah.
now.
He's gonna be like the MMA Brad Pickett, bro. I mean,
Yeah.
not Brad Pickett. What's the name?
Brad Pitt?
Brad Pitt, man.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brad Pickett too. That's my boy, man.
I love Brad Pitt.
Yeah, bro. That's
I
a
love
legend.
seeing him in the crowd the other night. Yeah, Donald is he's a fucking character, man.
Yeah.
That dude, he told a
Wild,
story on this podcast about cave diving. It was cave diving with this dude, and the dude panicked, and it filled the cave up with clouds, and he couldn't figure out how to get out, and he was running out of air. It was I knew he was alive because he's sitting right across from me, but it was one of the most hair-raising stories. Because his wife and his child were outside waiting for him. And he's thinking, there's no fucking way I'm dying in here. There's no fucking way I'm dying. And then
So
he figures
you
his
said
way out
cave
of the cave.
diving? Like
Cave diving. Like
Okay.
he goes scuba diving and gets down in these caves.
I thought you were like jumping out of caves into water.
No,
okay.
no.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they something
scares the
happened.
fuck out of me, bro.
Oh, fuck all that, dude. Fuck
Yeah.
that. But Donald likes to do shit that's scary as fuck. That's what
Yeah.
he likes to do. And he almost lost his life doing it. It was a crazy story. And when he's telling it, you're like, your hands are sweating. Even though I knew he was alive. I knew he was okay. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God.
I do a lot of swimming for preparation of the fights just to develop my lungs better. And we do a lot of like underwaters, down and back. And I fucking hate that shit, bro.
There's nothing scarier than running out of air in the fucking ocean.
And especially,
Oh.
and I'm just like 3 feet under the water. So at any moment I could get to my feet and push up, you know, and it's over. No matter how fucking close to death I might have thought I was, you know, it's over. It's like to be 20, 30, 100 feet under the water. Not me, dog. Not me.
Not me. Not me. I appreciate it, but not me. I'll pass.
I'll pass too, brother.
Yeah.
Who you got, Pettis or Roy Jones, before we move on?
Well, I've never seen Pettis box. He obviously
Right.
has hands. He knocked out Wonder Boy.
He looks in great fucking shape too,
Yeah.
man. He
looks
in
like great
shape.
opportunity for him too.
I've gotten to see a little bit of sparring matches between like him and Caleb and a couple other guys.
Mm-hmm.
He looks pretty damn good. One thing he's always had is speed and power. I think just
Yes.
genetically born with it. You know, it's just how does he bring it over to boxing now? Which is, I heard him talking a lot about boxing. But what I like to see like MMA guys bring into boxing is we're not gonna jab better than them. You're not gonna be a boxer better than them ever. But what we can catch them with is that funky like MMA shit, like duck your head and
Right.
they think you're going to body shot. And you bring up a fucking loopy right hand, you know. Kind of like Conor and Mayweather, those first like 4 rounds. I know Mayweather was studying him, but still he got hit with a lot of things he just didn't see because you can't emulate that. If you
Connor
haven't
could
seen
have
it,
been
you
a
know?
great boxer. He could have been a great
definitely,
boxer.
Definitely has the pop for it. bro.
Yeah, he's got a tremendous uppercut too. The uppercut that he caught Floyd with, you
Yeah.
could snap Floyd's head
Yeah,
back. Floyd
yeah.
was like, "Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that was legit."
Yeah.
He just wasn't composed enough to go 10 rounds
Yeah.
with one of the greatest of all time, the greatest of all time. I mean, if you want to look at guys that never got hit, Floyd went his entire career, got hit hard like 3 or 4 times ever.
Yeah.
He's defensively unparalleled. And he
What-
wasn't a mover. He stood right in front of you.
One of the, not always in his career,
Early
earlier in his
on.
career, he would use his legs a lot. I remember
Yeah.
nobody could literally touch him, you know? Like when he fought Diego Chico Corrales, was one of my favorite all-time fights, you know, because it was like, there was nothing for Diego to hit, and then all of a sudden he just bounced in his face, bop,
Yep.
left hook from like 5 feet away. That's a Mayweather that I think nobody could possibly maybe beat. 'Cause
That was the Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather.
Pretty Boy
that was
Floyd.
before he became Money Mayweather.
Mhm. And-
Well, he started developing hand problems. You know, he
Yeah.
broke his hands multiple
Yeah.
times.
or the Arturo Gatti Mayweather too.
Ooh. Oh, my God. He lit Arturo
That was like
Gatti
his
on
coming out party for the masses.
Yeah, he lit him on
Everyone-
fire.
Yeah.
Because everybody knew Gotti was
Everybody
his blood
knew
and
Gotti.
guts fighter, and everybody's like, "Oh, let's see how Gotti does." And just,
And I remember seeing Gotti and thinking like, man, this guy's got hand speed. You know, he's got a good hand speed, good power. I think it should be the first couple rounds somewhat competitive. Not even close.
not
bro.
even close. Not even close.
Even close, bro.
I think Floyd's ability to shoulder roll and his ability to avoid shots and then land shots when you don't think he can is unparalleled. I mean, when he fought
But-
Canelo and he was like standing right in front of Canelo and Canelo's just whiffing, you know, he's like, oh my God, it was a life lesson. And then you look at how good Canelo's head movement got after that fight when he realized it. I mean, my God, when he fought
mean-
Danny Jacobs and Canelo's just standing right in front of him,
boom, boom.
bobbing and weaving, that's all what he learned from fighting Floyd.
And it doesn't look like it, but obviously when Mayweather hits, it cracks. Maybe he's not a home run hitter, but he's definitely like
Precise.
a third base hitter, you know, because he hits guys and they're like, whoa,
Yeah.
they feel it, and then he gets out the way. I think definitely the greatest boxer maybe in my generation, but not the best fighter. I would say the best, you know, brawler, boxer type fighter, Manny Pacquiao, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Destroyer.
Manny Pacquiao. He
Fucking just
won
a
world
destroyer.
titles in 8 different weight classes. Who the fuck does that?
And the way he did it, like
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Cotto. I love this school, and the way that he beat Cotto, I didn't think nobody could ever do that to him. It was just like, bro, what the fuck? Man?
Well, his legs, Manny's legs are like tree trunks.
Yeah, and the
It's
hand
crazy.
speed, the power, you know?
speed, everything.
I just always wish that the Mayweather Pacquiao fight would have took place many years before than when it did. You know.
Well, it also took place when Manny went into the fight with a fucked up shoulder. I mean, he knew his shoulder was fucked before that fight and just wanted that money and just let's see what happens. Shoot it up with cortisone. Let's roll.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunate for us, man.
Unfortunate for us, but Floyd was smart. He's like, not yet, not yet, not yet. And waited until he started to fade a little bit. Like, okay, now.
Yeah.
After Marquez knocked him out.
Mayweather was, I think, one of the best too at doing that, like picking the opponent at the right time, like Shane Mosley, you know, when he got the Shane and stuff like that.
Well, Shane cracked him.
Yeah.
That was one of the hardest he got
Yeah,
ever
he
got
almost
hit.
went down to a knee. I remember. Yeah.
He
And
got
then
wobbled.
Mayweather showed the dog in that fight. You know, after that he came back and got him. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Shane, I mean, was a great fighter, but you know what Floyd brought to the table was that combination of discipline and technique and intelligence and just constant, steady improvement. I mean, that guy was a treat. He was a treat to watch.
Yeah.
And he's still out there doing these exhibitions, which is hilarious. Picking up 10 million here, 10 million there.
Love it.
Fucking people up.
Fucking people up.
People that have no business being in there with him.
No, I've seen some of like the videos of him getting like YouTubers and shit and just fucking
Yeah.
torturing him, bro. I'm a mean motherfucker, so I personally like to see that, you know. Especially when guys think like, yeah, I've been boxing for like 2-3 years, I could hang.
Hilarious.
Bro. You don't get it, you know.
It's funny because you think like my hands are good, I'm moving, I'm good, I'll be all right, and then you're in there with him, pop, and he's like standing right in front of pop,
Like
and you're like, oh no, I'm
like a coiled like
Yeah.
rattlesnake or something, you know.
He's a special fighter, and I think he set the bar for a lot of upcoming guys. Like a lot of these guys, like Gervonta, who trained with him, and all these guys. That sets the bar when you got a guy who's that good.
And then you see how many doors you could break down just by submitting to your craft and forgetting about the world. And like, there's a million things I could be doing, but I'm just going to focus on this and everything else will come. And I think Mayweather's like one of the best stories for that. Like, look
for
at all
sure.
he's accomplished outside of boxing as well, you know?
No, look, it's amazing what he's doing with business. I mean, I follow him on Instagram. It's hilarious. He's always in Abu Dhabi and Dubai, and he's making making deals. Look at my cars. Look at my watch. This is my big watch. I got a bigger watch. Sometimes I bust out this watch. He brings in like a fucking suitcase filled with $1 million watches. It's like
Boxing
it's
money.
hilarious. Boxing money, man.
Boxing money.
And his boxing money is different than everybody's boxing money now. First of all, because he made so much, but then on top of that, he continues to make money even after he's
Promoter.
semi-retired.
You know, he
yeah.
had it under his promotions. I think I remember it was like either interview or something that I read that when him and De La Hoya fought, I think he made a couple, I want to say 17M, something. It was like a good purse, but De La Hoya made like 100 million because it was under his promotion. And then right after that, Mayweather only did Mayweather promotions, and that's when that came, and that's when he started clocking those massive checks, you know?
Yeah, but he spends a lot too, so he's got to keep that money flowing in. It's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
he's
Like,
a character. But the fact that he
He's
goes
like the
over to
Federal
Japan,
Reserve.
fights Tenshin Nasukawa, who's like had no business in there with him. He's a
Not boxing.
126-pounder.
I would have liked to seen that kickboxing.
Oh my God, Tenshin would have fucked him up.
Yeah, I would have paid good money to see that kickboxing. 'Cause
Yeah.
I really thought Tenshin is like he beat those fucking Lupini champions, and the way
Oh,
he did it,
yeah.
I was like, "Fuck, bro, this
His
guy's
kicks.
scary." Yeah,
His kicks.
those
Yeah,
counter kicks, you know.
Oh my God,
and great hands for
Yeah.
for Muay Thai kickboxing. The speed, the accuracy. I think he's one of the better striker fighters we got to see for that time period.
No
he was
doubt.
really crushing it.
But he's tiny.
Super
he's
tiny.
so small
Yeah,
compared
yeah.
to Mayweather. He
Yeah,
just
yeah,
had
yeah.
no business being in there with him. A lot of people, like my friends, were like, "Duh, bro, that was a fixed fight." I'm like, no, it wasn't a fixed fight. There's a tiny guy against the best boxer of all time.
Yeah,
it's not
boxing.
Yeah, in boxing, it's
boxing.
just there's no reason why they just should have been doing that. It's like, but he's able to get guys to fight him. I mean, he's got MMA guys lined up. He's all these different people lined up. He goes over and fights these exhibitions. It's amazing.
Collecting checks.
Yeah, having fun, walking around with the ring card girl's card, dancing, not under no threat at all. And, you know, he's 46, 47 years old, still moves fantastic, still looks great.
I heard he lives a very disciplined life. Like, doesn't drink, doesn't smoke. Yeah, he'll stay up late, but he's going to go right back to sleep and wake up and train, and it's like a constant thing for him. It hasn't left his system. So I think, like, when any dude is like, man, I'm done with this, and then 3-4 years you pick it up, he might not be the same, especially age pass by. This is a guy that you could tell he never left the gym. Maybe he left it when he retired a couple weeks maybe, but he's like always in there. You know, you always see him working out, doing something, you know.
That's everything. And that's like Bernard Hopkins too. Same thing. Like Bernard Hopkins was world class up until he was 50.
Yeah.
Which was incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, Bernard Hopkins beat a world champion when he was 50 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the most disciplined, and that's a guy that learned that from going to prison.
Yeah.
He went to prison and is like, this is never happening to me again. Yeah. I'm going to be a fucking completely different person. Ate clean, exercised, slept right, never did anything wrong, took care of his body, and still to this day, he'll post videos of him working out, and he looks fantastic.
Yeah, mean motherfucker too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, dude. I mean, he was in his prime. I mean, I remember when he fought Tito Trinidad, and everybody was counting him out. And and when he grabbed the Puerto Rican flag and threw it down, and everybody's like, no, they were chasing him.
Yeah, I heard it was ugly. The Puerto Ricans started breaking bottles over his security team's head and stuff like that. Like, that was crazy, man. I know he's trying to sell pay-per-view, but damn, that's nuts.
That's not a good way to do it. Yeah.
To do it in Puerto Rico like that, you get killed, man.
I know, but he pulled it off. In that fight, man, he established himself in that fight. And I believe at that time, he was like, a lot of people were thinking he was done because he was like in his late 30s.
Yeah, I think
he's just getting started.
He still has a record for most title defenses at 160 or something like that, I think. Or definitely up there.
It's
or maybe
up there.
He was tied with the Argentinian guy, Monzon, something like that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I don't know what the record is in boxing, but I mean.
I remember something stupid like 14 or 16 title defenses at 160, something crazy. Some long streak.
Well, he's special in that, you know, like I remember watching him when he was just a middleweight champion and nobody knew who he was. And like, there was a lot of people that were complaining about his style, that, you know, his style was boring because he would clinch guys. But then you realize like, he's not getting hit.
Yeah.
Like he was so and frustrate guys, get them out of they lose their composure, and then he would start fucking them up. Yeah.
A little sneaky right, little sneaky left hook. That's did you remember his fight with Roy Jones? That's when also you were like, we know Hopkins is good, but Roy Jones is a fucking alien, bro.
Oh my God, the first fight. The second fight, you saw the difference because Roy was starting to slow down. Bernard had such discipline and technique, whereas Roy in his prime, in my opinion, was the freak of all freaks.
Agreed.
The freak of all freaks.
Playing basketball games before knocking people the fuck out.
Play
for
a
2
full
hours.
game of basketball and then go and fuck people up.
Slam dunking like he's fucking jumping off a trampoline.
Speed.
I believe with you, he's a freak of freaks, man.
His speed was insane. He would throw a left hook instead of a jab. I mean,
constant.
Always throwing left hooks.
And you just, like, when you're seeing, that's what's really crazy to me. Like, if I'm seeing tape and I'm a fighter, I'm like, well, I know he's going to throw his left hook, so I'm going to try to counter with this. And the speed and the setup is so out of this world that you don't even see it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's a left hook. It's like something that we've been seeing our whole lives. And it takes a lot longer than this, you know, because you got to cock it back and you got to throw, especially the way he would throw it here and then boom, explode. And people can't see it. The world's best couldn't see it. So I'm just with you, man. I've always thought that guy was a fucking mutant, bro.
Yeah, during his prime, I think he's the greatest. I think he's the greatest middleweight ever. Like right up there with Hagler.
Greatest talent. Definitely.
Yeah, the greatest talent. I mean,
greatest talent to step in the ring.
Just speed, but beyond speed. You know, when he would drop his hands and knock guys out, put his hands behind his back and knock guys out. I mean, it was like his fights were executions. It was like Tyson in his prime. It was like you were waiting to see like when Roy was going to take guys out.
But I think even freakier than Tyson for some reason, because those reflexes just out of this fucking world.
Out of this world. People that weren't around when Roy was in his prime, I don't think they appreciate it. But man, I mean, went up to heavyweight and beat Ruiz. But then I think that's what fucked him. I think going up to heavyweight, he got up to like close to 200 pounds.
Yep.
Then came back to 75, and he looked soft. It looked like he had just drained his body to make 75. Then Tarver caught him and knocked him out.
Yep.
And then Glenn Johnson knocked him out after that, and he was just never the same.
Yeah, very true. Like you wonder maybe if he didn't go to heavyweight, you know.
Yeah, maybe if
always
he
thought the
stayed at
same.
light heavyweight. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe, but that challenge to him.
He started at 154.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Beat James Toney too, which is another huge fan of James Toney.
Beat James Toney and hit him with that left hook. And James Toney was a defensive genius.
Yeah.
And the fact that he like stood in front of him and just leaped in and dropped him with a left hook.
That's like a perfect example. Like James Toney had a fucking radar. He was born with fucking a radar, and he still couldn't see Roy Jones' speed in his prime, bro. It's crazy. Bro.
Yeah, his speed was like complete next level. And, you know, it's interesting that he still enjoys fighting so much that he's still doing it. I mean, he's in his 50s now.
I get updates. Roy will send us like videos and stuff, and this dude still has fucking crazy speed. I would still place him slightly above average speed of most guys in boxing, you know?
I know, it's crazy.
It's fucking nuts. And the last thing to leave a man is his power.
Right.
You know, so I'm very interested in that. Obviously, there's a big age gap. Roy Jones is 54, 55. Pettis is, I think, 30. He's a little younger than me, 34, 36, something like that. So that's why I really like this matchup, because Roy's got all this boxing experience, but youth, as we know, is youth. You know, you could pull off anything with youth. That arrogance, that bravado that youth brings. So, I mean, fuck, bro, I'm pumped. I'm
pumped.
I don't know who gets it, bro.
Yeah, I don't know who gets it either.
I'm leaning towards Roy, obviously conventional wisdom, but youth is youth, man.
Youth is youth, and Pettis can crack. He did fight lighter, you know, when you really think about it. I mean, Pettis has fought at welterweight, which is 170, in boxing, 47, but he fought at 170, and Roy was the best ever at 75. So it's, you know, it's interesting. He was best ever at 68, too. You know, I mean, at 68, he was the motherfucker.
I mean, fuck, bro. That speed is just we could talk about just the speed alone for hours.
Yeah, we should probably watch a Roy Jones highlight. Put on a Roy Jones highlight reel, because people that don't know, like these young kids today, like, oh, Roy Jones, I saw him fight Mike Tyson. It was kind of boring. Like, listen,
No.
you need to go back into
If
the
Roy
archives.
Jones Jr. would have had social media when he was coming up, you're talking about 350 million followers.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so body shot, dead.
Yeah, oh my God. He was incredible. And it's just the speed. And, you ever seen his left arm? His left arm is
like
twice the size of his right arm.
Yeah, and it has like a double bicep, it looked like.
Crazy. He flexed for me. I was like, what is going on? One arm is like literally like 5 inches bigger.
That's James Toney
That's
right
James
there.
Toney. He just, look at it. Oh, the Vinny Pazienza fight.
These were actually pretty good, man.
The Vinny Pazienza fight was the only fight in the history of CompuBox where the opponent landed 0 punches in an entire round. And Roy just fucking tuned him up and then begged the referee to stop it. He said to the referee, come on, man, stop it. And the ref's like, no.
The first one
It's
was
like,
kind of
okay.
competitive, right? Was it? Because they fought twice?
No, he never fought Vinny twice. He only fought Vinny once. He
Okay.
fucked Vinny up. The Vinny Pazienza fight was a rout. Like, Vinny had no business being in there with him. I mean, Vinny started his career much lighter. And Roy was bigger, faster, more talented, more skilled, more confident. I mean, he was a freak of all freaks in his prime. Nobody was like him. And it's Captain Hook. Boom!
Captain Hook.
Yeah, he was amazing. I'm excited that you have him. I'm excited that he still enjoys competing too. You know, it's fun. I mean, we haven't seen him since that Tyson fight, but the Tyson fight was very different. You know, look at him stand in front of people.
That leaping right hand, I think, is one of the best right hands ever to grace
Also,
boxing.
his instincts and his fucking reflexes, they were off the charts.
The constant mind games is also what takes him to the next level, I think. Whoa, done.
God damn that speed. This is it. Hands behind the back. Pop. I mean, really, people, he has that song, Y'all Must Have Forgot. I never forgot. No. I never forgot. I mean, I was a kid when he was coming up, and so giant Roy Jones Jr. fan.
I think all of us, especially me being from Florida, we were always like, this dude is
Pensacola. Yeah, he put Florida on the map. Mm-hmm. Do you think that Pettis is going to continue boxing? Does he still have a contract with the PFL?
I know he has some works with the PFL. I don't know if he'll be doing the next season or not. I don't know exactly the intricate details of that. But if he gets a win over Roy Jones, how does he not keep boxing?
How does he not? I mean, the money's going to be there.
The money's going to be pouring. the guys right now, the older generation boxers, everybody's gonna be calling his fucking name. Everybody's gonna want to fight him. You know? And plus, Pettis himself is a fucking massive draw. You know.
Of course.
So it just makes sense that he continue boxing. And I've heard him and I've talked with him too that he does want to kind of focus more on the striking and just like, you know, maybe not grapple so much and use the things that he's naturally gifted with,
Right.
which is fucking his power and speed.
Yeah, I mean, he had gotten into wrestling quite a bit, and it kind of like changed his game a little bit. And then he realized, you know what, he's better, but he's just a wild striker, and if you take him down, he submits you. And it just kind of got away from that and went for a takedown defense. But I think, was it Rafael Dos Anjos that he fought? We got manhandled?
Oh, I think so. Might have been.
I think it was, see if he fought.
He's such a clutch dude, though. Like, when he won the title from Ben Henderson, he
Oh, my
armbarred
God.
him, and
Beautiful.
I fought with Ben. Ben is like no slouch in the grappling department. Gilbert Melendez, another guy that had never been submitted.
Submitted
fucking
him.
Guillotined
Yep.
him. It was just, like, man, he was on fire for
He
a
was
fucking
so
while.
fast.
Yeah.
He could get stuff off so fast.
Like a clutch dude, bro. Like
Yes.
when it like the Thompson fight, he was getting murdered. Minute to go.
Bang! Catches him with the right hand, knocks him out. The only guy to knock out Wonderboy in MMA.
And then the way that he did it too. That's something too that why I love this matchup so much, because in Raw you have like one of the flashiest fighters that had substance, not just flash.
Yes.
And Pettis also, man, he's one of the best 155ers I think, and also brought a lot of flash to the sport, but had the substance behind it as well. So fireworks.
Yeah, that's exciting. How many? So here it is. Yeah, it was Rafael Dos Anjos. Rafael just manhandled him. I mean, Rafael was one of those guys that cut a shitload of weight to get to 55, and he was so fucking thick and such a good grappler and endurance. And I
Great
think,
kicking too, good power with the hands.
Oh my God, yeah. He's actually moving here. He's moving to Texas.
Everybody's moving to Texas. They're all following you.
It's
now,
a
man.
fucking beautiful place to live.
Yeah.
It's great.
Way cheaper than most of the country, I think. You know,
No
for
state
what you need.
taxes, nice people, great food, no traffic.
Protect yourself.
Yeah, protect
all
yourself
times.
at all times.
I love
yeah,
that, man.
That's nice. You don't have to
Hell
worry
yeah.
about it. They have constitutional carry here. You don't even have to have concealed carry.
That's the best. We have you got to get your permit in Florida, but Florida's pretty cool with the gun laws as well. It's not the craziest thing to get your little permit over there, your concealed weapons permit. 'Cause
Right.
You could have it in the car. It just has to be like 1 or 2 steps away, and you could have it in your house. You don't need like permission for that. But to carry it, we do need permission to carry it in public.
I think everybody should learn how to use a handgun correctly. And if
Amen.
you could just get a gun and just carry it around, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I really feel like, I mean, I don't want to say it's mandatory because the Second Amendment is pretty clear. You know, the right to keep and bear arms is a part of our rights. But I think that just as a human being, you should learn how to use a gun
Yeah.
correctly. You should
Yeah.
learn how to handle it. You should learn
Just like
safety.
a driver's license.
Just
you
like
know?
a driver's license.
If you're gonna get behind a car, it's a fucking weapon. If you
Yeah.
don't know what you're doing, you change somebody's life in a second. Same
Yeah.
thing with the gun.
Before they had that law out here, I got a concealed carry permit. So I went through all the steps. And
In
got
California?
A permit. Yeah. No,
In-
here in
okay,
Texas.
okay.
California is hard.
Yeah. That's what everybody said.
Yeah,
Always told
they're
me.
loosening that up though in L.A. and the sheriff talked about it. He said there's too much fucking crime.
Too much fucking crime.
So they're loosening that up and giving
LA
away concealed
LA's a
carry
little
permits
scary,
now.
man.
It's very scary. My friends who go back there now, they're like, "Fuck, man, it's just not the same place."
I was there like 8 weeks ago. It's
different.
Like zombie land now sometimes, bro.
Yeah, well, COVID killed that place. COVID and the governor and the mayor, they just
fuck it. The
fucked that
politics,
place
bro,
to
they-
death.
They don't, I don't believe in those same like policies that socialism and communism spring up. Anything to do with that, I'm firmly against that, and we see it. It's like a perfect example. You want to follow that shit? Look what California happened in California.
Exactly.
Look what was going on in New York during the whole thing. It's nuts, man.
I
Freedom
get
first.
why people would think that it would work because they think they're going to be a better person. We're going to make things fair for people. But the problem is it just consolidates power in the top, and then they leave everybody fighting over everything else, and it becomes chaos. It happens in every country. It happens in every city. Whenever they institute those kind of policies, crime goes up. People get fucked. They let more people out of jail. Crime continues to go
Oh,
up.
you can't do that, man.
Yeah.
I grew up in not the best neighborhoods. Believe me, you don't want to defund the police. Like,
No.
because the guys the people that they'll be all right is like me and you, because I could hire a security team and so can you. But how about everybody else that can't?
Exactly.
They're going to get fucking murked, bro.
Yeah.
Because there's people on the other side that are really fucking hungry, that are for real bad guys. You take the police away, you take that filter away, you're asking for trouble, man.
And when you let bad guys out of jail, and then they
No
know,
cash bails?
They know they're going to be able to get out of jail easy if something happens. I mean, these guys are shooting people and they're out of jail in a day. That's crazy.
Insane, bro.
It's crazy.
There was some, I forget, I think it was California, like the dude went in for stabbing, then he got out the next day and then robbed up like a liquor store and then like shot somebody and killed somebody. Like this guy was just in jail 24 hours ago and you fucking let him go, bro.
No, it's a mess. And, you know, you've got that district attorney in L.A. He's a monster. He just lets people out and just... I don't understand it. I don't understand these progressive district attorneys.
I think it's done on purpose, because the evidence is pretty clear. It's like any idiot could read it. Any black and white person. It's in black and white for you to see. Like it's not working out, man. You know, now what they're trying to do to our boy Trump, it's fucking nuts, bro.
They're talking about arresting him for paying a girl to stop talking about them having sex. I thought that was a good deal. I thought it's a good deal. You pay someone. Didn't Clinton do that? Didn't John Edwards got in trouble for doing that? But he didn't go to jail. I don't believe he went to jail.
Bill Clinton got a blowjob while he was our president. While me and you are paying our tax dollars, this guy's, and that's the one that he got caught in. How much other shit do we not know about? Why isn't there no nothing on Bill Clinton, on him being on Jeffrey Epstein's fucking charter fucking plane numerous times on the list.
26 times.
But on the one dude, that's how you know that he's doing something right. The one dude that's fighting for us, that's actually for the people, they want to crucify him.
But they just don't want him president again. And they know that if he runs against Biden is so old. You know, no matter what you think about his policies, you hear him talk. And
can't even make it down a flight of stairs, man.
He's so old. He's so compromised. You watch him talk years ago. He was never an impressive guy. Biden was never impressive when he was young because he's full of bluster and he lied a lot about his record and his education background. He lied about a bunch of things. He's a goofy old politician that's been in that career. He's been in that lying business forever.
And the China money that he's been getting for years,
crazy.
Hooking up his son,
crazy.
The computer, denying the computer when it's like, bro, you could see it, bro.
Crazy.
Before the FBI declared that this was real, I was already watching videos of him like, bro, how are you going to say this is not real? It's all over the fucking internet.
It's all over the internet.
Suppressed it before the election?
Yeah, they suppressed it off of Twitter. And the fact that the liberals keep saying that there's nothing to that, like, what are you talking about? If that was Trump and Donald Trump Jr. was doing street crack with hookers in Vietnam and getting foot jobs, you'd be
and getting $10 million from these places where he's not equipped to have those type of jobs?
Yes. He was getting money from China and from Ukraine. I mean, it's wild.
And those are the same people that he's giving our tax dollars to.
Yes.
Like, what? No offense to what the people that are going through that in Ukraine. Obviously, it sucks to be in war, you know, especially against a massive thing like Russia. But I don't think we should be poking our chest and they're starting possibly a World War III.
It's fucking terrifying. It's terrifying to me that the left are the ones that are behind this, encouraging it, when the left was always anti-war.
No, that's what they say when a war from the other side happens. Like, oh, no, we shouldn't be going to war. But that's the same thing they're going to do, because that's when trillions of dollars get made every time we go to war. Somebody's going to get rich. Maybe not me and you, but somebody's getting rich.
Exactly. That's really what's going on. Is someone's getting rich. And what drives me the most crazy is the left is the one. They're the ones that are always talking about equity and the communities that are disenfranchised. Do you know how much money they could have spent fixing up places like Baltimore and Detroit? It could be a paradise.
They don't care about any of those places.
They don't.
It's just a slogan.
It's just bullshit.
It's the same thing that they did in Cuba, literally, in places like Venezuela. In Cuba, they would come and tell the farmers, hey, man, these city boys, this is the reason why you only have like 1 or 2 cows. You know, we need to all get together and go take their money and spread it around. And then you know what they did once they came to power? They went to those same farmers and said, hey, you know these 10 cows that you got? Now they're part of the state. You're going to raise them. And if you kill them, I'm going to put you in jail for 20 years. If you kill one of these cows, they're going to put tags on all of them. And we're going to give you like 5% of that cow. And if you have a problem with it, we'll put you in jail and the next person will come. So it's like kind of the same tactics they use here, divide and conquer. Constant, you know, because they know if we unite as a people and like, hey, man, Trump was doing the right thing. We might not like him on Twitter. He might be a mean coach, but fuck, he wins titles constant. If we could do that, I mean, fuck, America will be right back to being great again, you know, right now. What's going on with the banks? I'm hearing all types of crazy shit. We all, like, I hear these crazy reports. I read these reports that, I forgot the exact percentage, but if a certain percentage of people right now were to pull out their money, banks are collapsed. So
there's 200 banks that are apparently in danger. This is what I read. Is this?
I hope
this
it ain't
the case?
mine.
Have you been paying? You've been paying attention.
Yeah,
a little
if I
bit,
like
right?
start looking too deep, it
get
sounds like
panicked?
the whole fucking thing is really about to just fall apart. But like, I'm like, okay,
I knew it was
I
bad.
don't
How's that
like
gonna
it.
happen?
I don't like it. I'm so scared.
I knew it was bad when one of the heads of my bank sent me a message. Hey, I just want to send you a message. Everything is good here. We're well taken care of. You got nothing to worry about. Your money's in a
You're
safe
like, oh
place.
my
and
God,
that."
let me get my money now.
Go. I called him right away and I told him, "Hey, bro, do me a favor. Would you tell me if it wasn't good though?
Right.
You're gonna tell me that?" He's like, "No. Of course I would." I'm like, "No, you wouldn't, man. Come take your money out now before we go broke. You're not gonna tell me that, man."
Maybe we do it to you because you might fuck him up.
I might fuck him up, man. But damn, it's scary times we're living in, bro. I think
It's scary because I think a lot of these banks, they're. I mean, it's kind of funky. It's like if you just take all the money out, they're fucked. And if people panic and they take all the money out, and then those banks are fucked, and then
we
it
might have
starts
just
to
collapsed the
cascade.
economy right now. Me and you with this conversation.
Well, if you let too many people know what's going on, it could collapse the economy. If you let too many people panic, if someone decided, like some financial expert, not a moron like me, but someone who's like a legitimate financial
Elon Musk
expert.
says, "Get your money out now."
Oh my God! If Elon Musk got on Twitter and said, "Get your money out now," invest in gold, invest in Bitcoin, do something else, people would fucking panic. I mean, you're fighting at the FTX arena, which
Yeah.
is wild.
Yeah. Well, Miami-Dade Arena now.
Now it
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It still says FTX on my contract.
FTX Arena, bro. That's a fucking awesome one. And
They
then how
had a
many
fucking
billions
arena.
of dollars did they give to millions, not billions, did they give to Democratic parties?
The
and all
number
that?
number two donor to the Democratic Party.
That's not like money laundering?
It seems a little bit like money laundering. It's like a legal version of money laundering.
That's not money laundering?
Yeah, I mean, listen, man. He thought that was the way he was going to avoid going to jail and avoid scrutiny. Just
Paid
keep
all these
shoveling
top
out that
politicians.
money. He wanted to donate $1 billion next year. He wanted to continue donating money, and he was donating money from the people that it put the money into that exchange. He was taking other people's money and donating it.
What's going on with him now? Is he facing like
He's
20 life sentences? Yeah.
fucked. They're gonna
Yeah.
make an example of that dude. The CEO who looked at it. Again, I don't understand it. So I have to just go off what I've read. And what I've read is the CEO went over it and he said, "This is just old school fraud. This is nothing but fraud. This is fraud under a new type of money, under crypto." But he goes, "But this is just straight fraud." And, he untangled all of it. The CEO has been untangling all the books. They used QuickBooks to do their taxes. QuickBooks.
Nice.
Like some shit that like a guy who runs a corner store would use.
Yeah.
But he's
All right.
$1 billion exchange.
Guys are saving some pennies there, huh?
It's fucking. I mean, they were all on amphetamines and they were all fucking each other in that house. Part of me is kind of rooting for them. I mean, if they weren't doing fraud, I mean, you got all these nerds that are just, there's 9 of them living in a house and they're all just having orgies and fucking each other on speed. They're all taking speed and ecstasy and banging each other. They don't even look good. There's no one's even hot.
Oh my god.
They're just
bro.
closing their eyes and watching video games and fucking each other. I mean, it's crazy.
Just bought some fucking island in the Bahamas and went to town on each
Bought
other.
a giant ass penthouse, a $40 million penthouse at the top of this building.
They
got to
make a movie on these guys. They got to make a movie on these
They
fuckers,
should.
bro.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be a good one, like an Oliver Stone movie where they really go deep into what was actually going on and just show the grittiness of it. And all the people that are killing themselves because they lost all their money. And that's what people don't talk about. It's like people commit suicide all the time when these things happen.
Yeah.
You've got $1 billion locked up in crypto, and now all of a sudden you're broke.
Broke as fuck, bro.
And no way to get that money back. It's impossible. It's gone forever. It didn't exist in the first place. It was all a Ponzi scheme, and now you're insolvent.
It makes you really like rethink everything because I might know a little bit of my money, but what do I know compared to like a fucking billionaire, Somebody
Right.
that's made his money. I made my money off fighting, not like
Right.
because I'm the greatest businessman. You got these great businessmen to give you a fucking $1 billion. What the fuck's going on here?
I know. That's what's wild.
what
It was
type of
people
dream
that
were you
knew
selling?
money. They understood money. They understood the whole thing, and they dumped shitloads of money into that exchange.
Well, maybe if you dumped a bunch of money, they let you come to the orgy fentanyl parties or something, bro. Must have been, right? Like, you sign here, listen, guaranteeing you 3 orgy fentanyl parties a month, you're set.
I don't think anybody wanted to go to those parties. There's a bunch of doughy-looking nerds banging each other. I mean, it's just the whole thing is crazy. It's it didn't even seem real. Like the fact that everyone knew that they were having these orgies. Everyone. I mean, that girl Caroline Ellison, she was talking on
Is that
Twitter.
the one with the glasses?
Yeah, yeah. She was the one he was banging, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
You ever see Tim Dillon's take on that? You know
No,
who Tim
no.
Dillon is?
Yeah.
Tim Dillon's hilarious. He did this whole
I didn't see his take on it, but I know who Tim.
See if you can find it. It's so fucking Tim Dillon on Caroline Ellison and Sam Bankman-Fried. He did this fucking about what kind of money, like let's see what kind of pussy, $10 billion gets you. Like I want to know. I want to see what it gets you. It's like these fucking.
I've
people.
seen that chick. It's like you got to pay most of us some serious cash to
Yeah, just to do it. Yeah, but meanwhile, they're billionaires, and these are the people that are fucking each other.
Who are we to judge? Maybe she had like a golden snatch, bro.
Must have.
Like $10 billion snatch.
Yeah, that's real. All snatchers are not created equal.
No.
Some of them are better. That's a fact.
Yeah. A lot better.
A lot better. Like
lot
you like,
better.
oh my God, like
Yeah,
what's going on in that one?
Make you short circuit, bro.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
where you panic and start
Yeah.
breathing heavy. Like I gotta fucking concentrate myself. Here it goes.
Dan Bankman-Fried. And his girl has flipped on him, by the way. Can we get a picture of this woman up? Because this is why you do it, right? For the puss. What does $32 billion buy in the market of pussy? I don't like pussy. I don't even know. I could get a real cock for $36 billion. You know the cock that I could get? Let's get a picture of this hottie up. What does the straight market get you for...
Yep.
Oh. Sam. Evading U.S. regulators, this is what it was for? People will be like, well, you're making fun of the way a woman looks. Okay, they're criminals who stole everyone's money. Okay? So maybe is that okay that I make fun of them now?
It's a fun time to be a comedian. There's so much ridiculous shit going on. It's like the whole world has gone topsy-turvy and nobody knows what's going to right the ship. It's like we're all worried. We're all worried about war with Ukraine. The banks are going to fail. The fucking climate, this, that, the other thing. The fucking border's porous. People are pouring in, including terrorists. They're catching people on the terrorist watch list every day, sneaking in through Mexico. It's crazy.
Kamala Harris is yet to still visit the southern border.
I don't know if she's visited it, but she doesn't talk too much about it. When she does talk, it's just this rambling, weird.
She's talking to the kindergartners, of course.
Yeah, I think she's medicated. I don't know if she is, but I've read this guy that was examining the way she talks and behaves, and he said that it's classic for someone who's on anti-anxiety medications. I don't know if he's telling the truth. I don't know if he's right, but it's like the whole thing freaks me out. It freaks me out because, if Biden dies, which is very possible, I mean, he's...
Did you see that in Ukraine? Somebody slid all the way down the stairs. Maybe it could have been Biden. Did you see that video? It was outside on a couple pages on Instagram. Air Force Ones lands in Ukraine. Somebody falls off the stairs. And if it would have been Biden, I think he would have died.
He would have died.
They slid down the rails, and then Secret Service caught him at the bottom. It's a
Jesus
fucking crazy
Christ.
video.
I haven't seen it. Who was it?
Oh, this dude that
I remember seeing this too. I thought it was Biden too, but they never said who it was.
Yeah,
Can we see it?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the right video. He's
But
filmed
yeah,
on a
imagine-
couple
He
times.
falls all the
Yeah, so
time.
I can't
He
find it.
falls riding a
No,
bike. He falls going upstairs.
This was different though. This is like, oh, he's gonna die, and then they caught him.
It's
Yep.
from a far away angle.
Yeah,
you
look at
can't
that, look at
tell.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Who is that?
Hard to say. It's in a group of people. There's a lot of stairs.
Whoop. Slip and slide.
It's fucking...
Dude was in a rush.
Oh, my God. Who is it?
I don't think they've ever said that. Not that I've ever heard.
Oh, it's
He-
Biden.
He came down separately by himself, I believe, on this.
Oh, so it wasn't him.
particular moment.
So it wasn't him.
Is what I heard.
Bro, he probably had a death grip on that rail.
Why doesn't he
Not
just
me.
have an elevator?
I don't think you can get an elevator on a plane.
Yeah,
But
no.
someone,
They
for
gotta have
sure,
some type of rig for this dude, man.
They should have someone in front of him, some big dude with good balance.
Yeah, but then imagine how weak it also makes him look. You can't even
Yes.
walk down these stairs by your fucking self, and you're running the greatest country in the world.
Bro, he
Fuck
falls
outta here,
going
bro.
up the stairs.
It's fucking
First of all,
ridiculous,
he
bro.
should not be wearing slippery shoes. He should not be wearing those dress shoes. Like, don't do that. Those things are slippery for regular people. For a dude, his body's short-circuiting. It's just not
Constant.
constant. I mean, what do they got him on to keep him going too?
No,
I would
he's
like to get
severely
on that cocktail.
medicated.
I would like to get on that cocktail.
His pupils, his eyes just don't seem like regular either. When he's like talking and stuff, it's got
probably
him on.
Adderall. They probably got. Yeah.
Adderall's what like me and you could get. They're giving him something else, bro.
See that photo of him
No.
going around? It must have been taken as he was sort of coming down the stairs a little hard.
Whoops.
But it's a weird position for him to
Bro,
be in.
that's not good for old knees. Yeah. They blow those
He was
knees out.
joking. He was like moshing, but
Yeah, he's getting crazy. Rage Against the Machine's playing. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Yeah, it's a wild time to be alive, man. It's a strange tumult. It's a time that could lead to terrible things, or we could come out of this better.
Look
That's
all
what's
around the
scary.
world, though. It's only led to terrible things in the world. I always have felt that, especially from hearing it from my dad, that escaped communism at an early age. He brought himself on over at a raft, landed
Your
in the
dad
Bahamas.
came from Cuba on
Came
a
from
raft?
Cuba. When he was 14, 15 years old, him, his best friend, and his best friend's uncle came up with a plan that they were going to escape. So they found a tire tractor, turned it into a raft, hit the sea. 7 days later, he landed to the Bahamas. From the Bahamas, he got extradited to the USA, straight to the projects, and began his journey here in America. So, like, he always would tell me, sorry about that.
No worries. All my friends that have family that has come from a communist country. I have some friends that came from Eastern Bloc countries. I have friends that came from Venezuela. I have friends that have come from Cuba, like Joey. Joey does not want to hear any of that shit. You try to
None
say
of
that to
us.
Joey Diaz, it's like,
None of us.
this fucking shit always goes bad. Always.
Shout
Every
out to
time.
Joey, bro. He's one of the fucking coolest dudes I've ever
He's the
period,
best.
bro.
Joey Diaz is the funniest fucking human being I've ever met in my life.
But he has nothing good to say about that regime.
Nothing.
No.
Nothing.
Nobody actually lived it. That's why when I see like Kaepernick, he went to Miami and had a fucking Che Guevara shirt. Like this dude slaughtered fucking thousands of people, family of mine, friends of my family, and just to take power. This guy was so fucked up that he had the wall removed from his own office so he could see the firing squad eliminating people. And these are the people he put on T-shirts. And if you believe in them so much, like any of these guys that advocate for socialism or communism, go live over there, dog. Go just
Right.
1 year. I dare you, bro. I fucking dare you, bro, because you wouldn't make it one day over there, Kaepernick or any of these fucks advocating for socialism, communism, you know. And what I was saying earlier is that look all over the world, Venezuela, Brazil, Colombia, Ukraine. It's like gotten bad overnight, and what used to be like the standard of fighting communism, socialism, is now like somewhat semi-adapted in this country, you know? Progressive socialism, or what do they call it?
Yeah, they call it democratic socialism.
Democratic socialism. Get the fuck out of here with that, bro.
They think that they're going to be able to do it the right way.
There
It's
is no
never
right
been
way.
done the right way. They think, but they don't understand that that kind of thing always leads to top-down power. It always leads to dictatorships. It
'Cause
always leads to
always.
someone enforcing.
Always.
And those people always have castles and fucking billions of dollars, and everybody lives in poverty.
The only thing that's promised you in communism and socialism is equal misery for everybody else except the fucking elite of elite, you know? And these people out there might be listening like, oh, I'm a billionaire or a millionaire. No, you're not the elite still. It's a different fucking power structure for those guys that, you know, most of us ain't gonna fucking ever get to come around, you know, and that's just for them, you know. Like California, perfect example. What happens when you adopt these fucking shit policies, bro, in a great country like ours, bro? I think 1,000% we are the beacon of light for the whole world. When we're doing good, the whole world is fucking doing good. When we're fighting against that shit, that fucking pure evil, bro, the whole world's doing better. And look how good we were doing with Trump just like 2-3 years ago. Like fucking this wannabe president took over now. The whole world's gone to shit real fucking quick. Look at China, Taiwan, China, Hong Kong, all this shit. I don't think none of this would have happened if Trump was in power, brother. I fucking seriously believe that.
It probably would have been much different for sure. And, you know, if we could get sensible policies and a sensible, like someone who's fiscally conservative to take over these states and put them back on track, it would be better for everybody. That's what people don't understand. It's better for the poor people. It's better for, there's more jobs. When the economy is doing better, everybody does better. And
Small government.
Yeah, man. It's just
Never
like,
give them the power, you know?
never give them the fucking power. But it's so hard for people to wrap their head around that because they think that socialism is like a more equitable, fair way to live life.
It's not.
They just think it because they don't have any money. They don't understand that the people that do have money, they are manipulating you. The whole thing is manipulation, and it's top-down manipulation. And once they get complete control, if they get something like some sort of a social credit score system and a digital currency, we're fucked.
Like China?
Like China, exactly. You won't be able, if you tweet something that they don't like, you won't
can't
be able
catch
to.
that fast train no more.
No.
Now it takes you 2-3 days to get to that side of the country.
They'll punish you, and they'll punish you so you will self-censor, and you will step in line, you will stand in line, you will be one of the people that's subjugated. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's how it always works. And the people that want to point to it being the way we should live, there's no successful version of it. No one can say, like, this is how socialism works when it's perfect.
200 million souls and counting in the socialism, communism experiment. You know, it's never worked once. Why would we take the chance with the country that's the greatest in the world, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it? You know, could we be better? Fuck yeah, we could be better. But I've been all over the world, just as I'm sure you've traveled the world 20 times over me, and I truly feel in my heart this is the greatest country. I'm a son of 2 immigrants, Bigs that didn't have shit. My dad landed on a fucking raft. My mom came from Peru and didn't have fucking $1. She was like the first one to get here, escaping the socialism over there to an extent. It wasn't as bad as Cuba. And I'm a multimillionaire, bro. Just for doing my passion, my love, something that I fucking love in my heart. And I'm taking care of my family, my family's family, and a couple generations down, I'm going to be able to fucking contribute to them. Sorry about that.
No worries.
I keep shutting
Popular
it off.
dude.
No. It's actually my fucking wake up from my nap alarm.
You got naps incorporated into your day?
Not always, but just in case, you know.
Every now and then.
Yeah, every
sleep.
now and then, a little sleep. Not too much though.
How many have you changed as you've gotten older? Have you changed your workout routine? Have you done anything? Yeah?
Yes, no. So I one thing I like to do is obviously shock my body, but I also like to like get like long training sessions in. You know, I remember Bernard Hopkins would talk about it a lot, like where he would just do the basics for a very, very long time and just doing it. And it's very boring and monotonous just for me to like just throw one jab constantly, things like that. But I feel that it just like re-sparks maybe things that I should be sharpening up. And it becomes cardio at some point, you know, as I'm doing it for so long, it becomes cardio, and it becomes specific cardio to what I'm doing. So a lot of my sessions, I'll have like a 2 to 3 hour session first thing in the morning when I'm nice and strong and I have the full gas tank. Then I'll take my little break, and then I'll have like another session at night. But it's not always like that. Sometimes when I don't have a fight, I'll do 3 sessions a day, but they won't be like crazy. It'll be maybe a strength and conditioning that lasted about 45 minutes to an hour and 15. And I took a big break. Then I came back in the midday, had like a good technique session where I'm just focused on positions that I'm not efficient in, just doing them over and over and over. And I used to do a lot more live, mixed in with drilling. I've always been a big driller just because I'm not, for grappling. Striking is different. Coach could show it to me 2-3 times and I understand the biomechanics really well. Grappling has never come to me like that. So I have to like get numerous repetitions. So in that, I'm doing my cardio. I'm getting better at my craft. So I just like to train, bro, and just put the time in there. So when I was younger, I trained hard like twice a day, but always didn't have like a direction. Now I have like a clear direction. Like I'm just trying to focus on making this guillotine more efficient or whatever it is that I'm doing. So I'm just going to get numerous reps. I'll spend numerous time with Mike Brown or Paulino Hernandez, whoever is leading the practice, and they know that I'm also like very ADD and dumb. I can't learn more than like 1 to 2 moves a day or like even the setup. Just teach me 2-3 things, and I'm just going to drill that for like an hour and a half, and I'll be done, you know?
Are you monitoring your heart rate to make sure you're not overtraining? Are you doing shit like that?
I was definitely doing that, and then with Whoop and stuff, but I was like, man, this comes from China, man. Maybe nah, I'm not even joking, man. I'm not even joking. I was like, these Chinese motherfuckers are monitoring my sleep, my everything.
Ooh.
And I was like, nah, bro, I can't do this shit no more, you know? And then, you know, a lot of times I'm just like, mind over matter. Like I wake up feeling like a little... I don't feel great, this and that, and then the Whoop tells me, hey, or whatever technology, I'm not trying to diss on Whoop or nothing, or whatever technology I was using, like, hey, you know, today should be like a half day, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, should it be? because I feel like if I really like start to warm up and start to dig, and I got somebody in front of me that's mean and trying to come after me, bro, I'm gonna find it. And then on fight day, just in case I wake up not feeling the best, who gives a fuck? I gotta fight, you know, I gotta compete. So I like them, and I don't, for like workouts I like them, but for them to tell me like today take like a half day off, it's kind of like I've been doing this so long. I also know in my body's like the difference between an injury and just being like truly sore, maybe having like a little pain somewhere. So I just really listen to my body. I did the monitoring for like a good 6 to 8 months, and I think it's a great tool. I think individuals should definitely use it. But combat sports is like this special, weird fucking thing. If I was a triathlete, it would make a lot more scientific sense. But in combat, it's like
you got to test the mind too.
Yeah, bro, you got to test the fucking mind.
Yeah, and sometimes when you're not doing that well physically, the mind gets you through it. And
Yeah.
you got to know that it's always there.
And in your body, like when I used to cut a lot of weight at 155 pounds, it was constant running for me. It was 3 to 5 miles every day to every other day. And then as I got closer to the fight, it was just a constant thing. So then I'd have my 2-hour long session in the morning, sparring, whatever. And then I would do pads at night. Then I'd go home, have like a little protein shake and go run. And then there's truly where I discovered myself, because I didn't really fucking want to do these runs. It'd be like a 5-mile run. I'm like, bro, I don't think I could do a half a mile. And just putting on my socks, going through that mentally, and then I'd put on my shoes, and the next step I'm out the door. Then before I know it, I did these 5 miles, and those things led me to believe we're always gonna have breaks, sensors put on us, like, oh, that's it, can't go no more. But when you really want something, when you're really like, fuck it, I'll just pass out in the street, and I don't give a fuck, but I'm gonna get this done. Shit happens, bro.
Yeah.
And you just like evolve, bro.
It's the power of the mind. It's like some people, they have this ability to push. Like David Goggins is the best example of that ever.
Another fucking dude that I love to listen to. You just hear him talk, you get fucking goosebumps.
Whenever I'm around him, man, I'm like, he's an extraordinary human being. Like, do you know his knees are destroyed? His knees are so fucked up. The doctor, when they examined his knee, said, I can't believe you could walk.
Yeah.
He goes, forget about running thousands of miles. How the fuck are you walking on these knees? His knees are bone on bone, and he got his knee cut because his knee had grown, like the bone had distorted because it was just bone on bone and inflamed. So he had to get it cut, sliced, and wedged, and then screwed in place so it was flat.
Fucking mutant, bro.
So it's still bone on bone, but at least now it's flat, so he doesn't like put all the weight on one side of his knee. But if you see like his knee, like show the picture of the injury. It's so fucking crazy that you can't imagine that this guy would do this. And I mean, he really needs knee replacements, and he probably will have to get them someday. But
some stem cell, at least something.
Something.
The stem cell helped me out tremendous. When I used to do a lot of road work, the pounding was like fucking. You wake up and you just have the pains. Like I just ran 5 miles, and the night before I wake up and I feel like shit.
Yeah.
Bro.
So see that marking? That's because the edema in his legs. And that picture of me and him together, that's what his knee looks like. So they sliced his knee like at an angle, and then took a chunk of it out, and then moved it down so that it's flat. But if you look at his knee, there's no space. There's no meniscus. There's no cartilage. That is fucking straight bone on bone.
That's
and that dude
sheer
is
will.
running, 25, 30 miles a day.
At a crazy pace.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. Out there talking shit.
fucking
Stay hard. And just running in agony. Like he says when he stands, he's in agony. When he walks around, he's in agony. He's always in pain, but you would never notice.
Yeah.
He just keeps moving.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's wild. And that kind of mental strength, that dude, he's like a dispensary for mental strength. Like you hear him talk, and all of a sudden you find a new gear.
And then you watch him do it, which is even more, I love
Yes.
the motivational speakers, but there's nothing more motivation to me than coach just said, hey, we're going to run 5 hard miles, and he's fucking running it there, and he's ahead of us. I'm like, man, how the fuck is this old motherfucker in front of me? I got to push, I got to fucking get after. I'm the one that's competing. That's why fucking hats off to Goggins always, bro.
Hats off to him. I think that is the benefit, like what you just described, of a big camp. Because a big, ATT has so many fucking killers that you are just constantly around these assassins on a daily basis. And it's just, it is a dog pit. Yeah. And if you're not a dog and you get in there, you'll find out real quick. Yeah. And you'll know where you stand in the world.
Yeah, and it took us a while to get there, man, to become like a refined big
Shout
team,
out to
you know.
Dan Lambert.
Dan Lambert's a
Dan
fucking
Lambert's
man.
a fucking man.
He's the
He spent so much goddamn money putting ATT together back in the day where there was very little money in the sport, just out of love.
And still does, you know,
Yeah.
still puts, you know, this is stuff you won't ever hear from Dan's mouth, but this is stuff that I know personally. He'll fucking probably like punch me in the leg for saying things, but he's constantly helping dudes out, whatever. Rent came up short, or you have a surgery and it's not getting covered because this promotion that you're at doesn't have that. Okay, here you go, bro. Here's fucking XYZ dollars. It's just, he's not like your typical dude, man. He's a fucking good dude through and through, transparent as fuck. What you see is what you get. And back then when he put the program together, like you said, there was like no money, man. This guy has the pockets to own like a football team or something. This is what he loves. He's fucking loves MMA, you know, and he's put a great program together. Back then though, it was some wild. So I wish you could have came in the American Top Team back then when it was like sparring was just like a fight, because we had adopted something where, you know, we knew that in boxing you just spar hard. You know, you don't always spar in boxing, but once that camp is up 8 weeks out, those guys are throwing heaters to see where they're at. You know, so ATT used to be like that, and it was like constant amount of bodies everywhere. Now we've gotten more sophisticated. The coaches have gotten better, where we still get after it hard, but in a much more scientific way. And fuck, bro, I'm eager to see what the future brings. Like, long after I retire, I think that we're still gonna hold the fucking flag up for mixed martial arts, bro.
Well, it's an incredible camp, and it's
And
filled.
the guys we got coming up right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys like Eblin, like Johnny, who's
Yurosov too, the Bellator champion,
Oh,
170.
yeah,
he puts
man.
in a lot of work down there.
he's
Shabili
a
from
fucking killer,
155 too at Bellator. Shabili.
There's a thing about Bellator. Unfortunately, people aren't recognizing it. They just they watch it casually, but they don't have the kind of fan base that the UFC has.
No, not even close.
It's unfortunate because guys like Eblin are so fucking talented. There's so many people, Michael Venom Page, there's so many people over there that are so good.
Yeah.
They're so good and so fun to watch. You know, Douglas Lima. Woo,
Great
that
striker.
motherfucker's leg kicks are
Leg
out
kicks,
of this world.
Left hook, straight right hand. Always been a big fan of Lima, man.
And one of the best in the world. I always wanted Lima to compete. Like, I don't know where he's at, like in his prime, but like when he was at the top in Bellator, I always wanted him over at the UFC.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
Especially
think that
against
guy,
like the better strikers.
Yes.
There's wrestlers that they kind of had his number there, but against strikers,
Yeah.
would have got my money. Would have paid for sure.
He was a motherfucker.
Yeah.
He really was a motherfucker. And that was when Askren handled him. That was when I was like, man, I want to see what happens when Askren gets into the UFC, because Askren in that time when he was the Bellator champ, they just let him go.
Yeah.
They're like, you're too boring.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. As a champion, they're like, we don't want to watch your fight. Get out of here.
Blanket, man. He's a blanket. No excitement, and you know, it takes a lot of attrition and conditioning and skill to do that. But when guys fight like that, they're doing the complete opposite of fighting. They're doing everything in their power for them not to land the blow and me not to land the blow. And it's kind of like, bro, you're almost trying too hard to sniff a crotch or fucking sniff an armpit, you know? And it's fighting, but it's also entertainment, you know? And he wasn't finishing guys. He's just literally hugging guys to death, you know? So
My perspective was, I'm fascinated to see who he can do that to. Because he did that
to a lot of guys.
I mean, he did it to a lot of guys that were like killers. And he just put that fucking wrestling on him.
Yeah.
You know, and the beautiful thing about the way you knocked him out is you preyed on his instincts. You went at an angle and then right to him, and his instinct was just automatically to grab you. I mean, that is one of the most iconic photos in the history of the fucking sport.
You know, also
and then
from,
you use
from,
that even in your papers. I should show.
Let go.
Jorge has papers.
Trio 5, baby.
Trio
That my
5
city.
papers, and it says at the bottom, super necessary.
Let's go, man. It's super necessary you get them papers. But
Bro,
yeah,
that knockout, I mean, I remember watching that going, oh my God.
you know,
I'll
a lot
play
of
that.
a lot of it was also psychological, man. I knew from hanging out that he
What were you
wasn't good
saying
at
to him?
adapting. That it's like, hey, you got to come prove it now. Something like that. I was saying, like, all that shit talking, you got to do it now.
And these guys just flapping gums at each other. Any chance they get. The fight clock is
Go to the
running
side
out.
and then boom, right in, out cold.
But the whole thing is the walking over him that really gets him, the change of speed. I I saw that on Twitter. You know, I always like to study my dudes in different ways. But I saw that in
the best is to share it. Your celebration.
On Twitter, I saw that he was very like, you know, witty and always constantly writing shit like that. And I'm like, you know, he's a dork and a nerd, but you know, he's got a little bit of wit behind the computer screen. When I saw him face to face every time, and it was straight my IQ versus yours, improvisation versus your improvisation, or maybe you've been thinking about some stupid shit for like a month and you're gonna say it to me now, but he froze up every single time. And these were like a lot of encounters we had off camera. Like I remember I saw him and I was like ducked off in a corner, and he was walking by this, so I'm like, bro, I'm just gonna spring up on this dude and scare the living shit out of him. So I did, pop up on him, hands behind my back, literally short circuit. Hey, Master, I heard you're a very tough guy. I gotta use the bathroom. And I'm following. No, let's talk, bro. I just want to talk. Don't worry, I'm not gonna do nothing. You come over here. Let me talk to you, bro. Why are you such a corny motherfucker? And I'm just, you know, trying to probe at him. And I noticed every single time that it was unscripted, unimprovised like that, like just spur of the moment, short circuit. Couldn't fucking, you know, keep it together. So I was like, I not only need to run at him, but I need to have like a change of speed, because that's going to make him go into his natural crotch sniffing instincts. If I just change the speed on him, he's going to fucking duck. So that's why I came out slow, cut the little angle, and let him like, oh, okay, you know, we're going to circle it up. As soon as I change speed, what does he do? Go to his fucking initial instincts as a fucking crotch sniffer. Go sniff the crotch. Instead, you're going to kiss his knee goodbye, though, you know?
That was one of the greatest knockouts in the history of the sport, without a doubt. I mean, one of the best ever.
Thank you, sir. Plus, it doesn't take up too much of your time. You know, you got, hey, you want to see a dead body real quick? Bam, you know, and it's over.
I want to see a dead body. That's it was just a giant screen. And that was like, you fucking launched into him. It was hilarious, though, that, like, right away on Twitter, he's like, well, that sucked.
And then I counted his ass out, you know.
Boom. I mean, he leaned into it, too. I mean,
because he was dying to sniff the crotch, bro. He's dying, bro. He's like, he should have been invited to the Sam Bankman-Fried parties.
Horrible knockout. One of the worst ever, and one of the greatest ever. It's just the way he set it up, though. It's just, and then watching video footage of you practicing that over and over and over again, and knowing that that was a plan.
So when I'm doing it the night before, I'm like 95% certain, because of the way he's been acting all week. Like, all I got to do at any given moment is just get this guy uncomfortable. Go from like chill to invade his space. Whether it was in the opening bout or like in the second round or midway through the third, I just knew I had to invade his space, and he's going to go to his natural instincts. I know I keep saying it, but I just knew it. Like, the way he'd freeze up every time we talked, the way he'd walk, the way he'd get stiff.
Yeah,
I just knew, like,
it. I mean, you literally practice the exact same thing over and over and over again. It's so wild to see. Like, it's like when Conor knocked out Jose Aldo. You ever see that shit where he was practicing that? He was like mimicking Aldo, and then he was practicing like just launching that left hand when he moves in.
Yeah, and then.
And the same thing, got him out of character, got him fucked up and flustered, got him angry. Nobody had disrespected Aldo before that. Everyone was terrified of Aldo.
I still think one of the greatest 145ers.
One of the greatest of all time.
Ever
I mean,
lived.
yeah, Conor got him. No doubt.
But he was better than Conor overall. Because his wrestling
His career
defense,
was certainly better than Conor's.
way better.
But the thing about Conor is, in that first round particularly, he's so explosive and so quick.
Timing, too.
Yes.
He comes in with the timing on fucking, like, dialed right in.
And that touch of death. He's got these big-ass hands, and he just fucking launches them at people. Yeah. In that first round, he's one of the most dangerous guys alive.
For sure.
He's so good. And it's just, I wonder how he's going to come back with that leg break. Here it is. Here's him practicing. Like, he's doing, like, how Aldo moves, and then he's doing how he moves. Bam! And that's it. Like, he knew what was going to happen. And then here, look at this. This weird style, throwing that side kick. And then here it comes. Bang! I mean, crazy.
And he got clipped as well. You know, it's like
in the process, he's got a hell of a fucking chin. I mean, Conor has a hell of a chin too, especially at 45. At 45, he would just walk through dudes.
I heard he would have the massive weight cuts too at 45.
Oh my God, he looked like death. Yeah. He was one of those guys when I would see him. That was the real weigh-ins. That wasn't the weigh-ins where guys were a ceremonial weigh-in where they weighed in at 10 o'clock in the morning. Like, look at him at weigh-in. And that motherfucker looks like he's on death's door.
Yeah.
And all that flexing and craziness, like, your body is like, you could cramp up real bad at that point.
It's happened to me numerous times. You flex a little too hard after the weight cut.
Yeah, look at the difference. I mean, it's extraordinary. I mean, he's gaining a solid 20-plus pounds of water. So like just the amount of mental strength it took to get down to that 145, it was crazy. But at 145, he's so fucking big.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Is like there's a giant benefit to it, but man, the cost on your kidneys and your organs and
the chin.
Yeah.
Reflexes.
Oh, your head, you're just fucking. But that was the IV days though too.
Yeah.
You could rehydrate.
4 banana bags to the face, you're fine the next day. Yeah.
Reinflate. You would see guys weigh in, and the only guy who freaked me out was Yoel. Yoel Romero would look so big at 185. You're like, how is that 185? How is it even possible? He looks like a heavyweight.
I've known Joel since he got to America, and I was a fan of him before. I remember watching him compete in the Olympics, and obviously he's Cuban, so my whole family, everybody, we're always cheering for this dude. And this dude was like just fucking Roy Jones Jr. type cloth, you know?
And he
doesn't
didn't
lift
even
weights.
start in the UFC till he was 36.
And he doesn't lift weights, and he looks like
He doesn't lift weights?
He maybe he's lifting weights now, but when we were training constantly together, it was just push-ups, pull-ups, squat jumps. He'd do a lot of body workouts, and he looks like he's a fucking pro bodybuilder.
He's the freakiest of the freaks in terms of like athletic freaks, just extraordinary athletic freaks.
And dense. Out of everybody that I've trained with, I've never felt someone denser. I remember he had just started, and so we'd always trade techniques. He's showing me what he would do in wrestling in certain positions, and I'm showing him like in striking. And I'm talking about
here's
like
him warming up.
crazy flexible,
crazy athletic. But I had him on the podcast, and Joey Diaz translated. It was amazing.
That was bad.
It was amazing. But he was talking about the Cuban program. He goes, "They turn you into a machine. They turn you into a machine." He goes, "You can eat."
That's what he
Yeah.
Those were his workouts back then.
Yeah.
Literally, he'd do like 50 of those, then take a break, and then he'd do another 50 of those, and that was his weightlifting.
It's extraordinary because the guy, because he didn't want to gas out, rarely used his wrestling, and he's one of the best wrestlers ever. He was an extraordinary wrestler, but his flying knee knockout of Chris Weidman is also one of the greatest of all time.
His debut UFC, he gets a flying knockout. He's with me and my trainer Paulino Hernandez, and I've landed the knee a couple times in Japan and hurt guys and gotten some good success off it. So we had seen fights. He's like, "Hey man, I want to learn the flying knee," So we showed it to him, like, not lying, 2 weeks and like 5 days before his fight. And we showed him a quick little setup for it. You go forward, you go back, you go forward, and you go back. And when he goes back, if he comes forward, you jump with it. And fucking his first UFC fight does it. He literally, I saw it with my own eyes. He learned this technique 2 fucking weeks before. That's when I knew, bro, this not only is, because there's guys that are athletically gifted. Yeah. This guy's also fucking brilliant.
He's also like, he would move so slowly and casual, and then boom, there it is. Show the one with Chris Weidman, because Chris Weidman is even more impressive. And there he is when he was on the podcast. He was like 220 pounds when he came in to do the podcast.
His traps look like fucking buildings, bro.
He's a fucking house. Here's the Weidman fight. It was a good fight.
It was a great fight.
Boom.
And then fucking the cat likeness, how he landed and everything. Oh my God.
He was extraordinary. He's just a freak. Do you know when they brought him to Australia? I've told this story before. Forgive me if you've heard this, folks. They brought him to Australia, and he had a fractured orbital, and they brought him to the doctor. So he gets examined, and then the doctor calls the UFC, goes, "Where did you get this guy?" And they go, "What do you mean?" And they go, "He's a fucking specimen." And he goes, "Oh, yeah, he's amazing, right?" And they go, No, you don't understand. He goes, "I've been a doctor for 50 years. I've never seen someone like him." He said the tendons in his eyes are 3 times larger than a normal person's. He said the orbital fracture, it's already healing. Like, he's just a athletic freak. The rarest of the rare.
I used to kick this guy in like in the leg or the fucking form, and everybody that he's fought always says it, And you saw his performance with Izzy. I think he hit Izzy in the first round. Izzy kept like touching it because he truly is the most dense guy I've ever worked out with.
That's what Luke Rockhold said. He was like he was made out of metal.
Bro, it's not a fucking lie, bro. And it's crazy because he didn't lift weights, push-ups, pull-ups, those jumping shit, but he would be very disciplined with it, you know, like no matter what he did, boom, every day he had like his little set of doing things to keep himself in shape. And remember, he got, like you said, he got into UFC at what, 36, 37?
36.
If he comes over from Cuba after winning his first world championship, was at 19 years old, is the first one that he won it, and then you know, then he sold matches and did what he had to do to get money. If he comes in at like 19 over here, he's like numerous time champion and at different weights, bro.
100%.
And
yeah,
the ability
100%.
to learn for that guy too was unparalleled, bro.
Yeah, no, it's like there's levels to athleticism, and he's
And
in my opinion,
he's a mean guy too.
Oh yeah. Nice guy too.
No, super nice guy. But when
When
anything related with competition, you're talking about
Yeah.
a pissing contest or a spitting contest, he's trying to fucking outdo you.
Well, think
Million
about
miles
where
per
he
hour.
came up from. I mean, what made him is that Cuban program.
Yeah.
They turn you into a machine.
Yeah. And that's all you got over there. It's either that or be like everybody else, broke
Yeah.
and misery, you know?
Yep. Yeah. I mean, that's how they make people the way they are. I mean, it's pretty extraordinary, but man, that dude, I would have loved to see him when he was younger. I mean, it's really kind of incredible that you get him essentially at your age just making his debut. It's wild.
And
Wild.
You could see from fight to fight just how much he's evolving. You know, he's like, this wrestling stuff is cool, but I need to knock people the fuck out.
And he still looks fucking great. He's fighting in Bellator now, right? He still looks fucking great.
At 205.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, what a extraordinary human being. Just so unusual. And the style that he had, just like so loose and relaxed. Boom! And then out of nowhere.
And his wrestling too, defensively, offensive, is just beautiful. Like in that same Chris Weidman fight, you can see his intelligence. It's before that knee, he goes for a takedown, Weidman stuffs it. And the way that Weidman stuffs it, he knows if he does it again, I'm gonna fucking take him right down. And he shoots the same takedown, Weidman stuffs it the same way, and boom, right in his fucking back, just like a fucking thing of beauty, man.
Levels. It's that Olympic level wrestling. That's why it's so fascinating to see like guys like Bo Nickel and these like elite wrestlers coming in at an early age.
That's another fucking problem.
Real problem.
Huge fan of that guy. I've been watching him since his freshman year, but I hate when this motherfucker goes with me on the mat. He is a fucking nightmare, bro.
I can imagine.
He's so good already on the ground, because that's a very studious guy too. He obviously, the wrestling is fucking second nature. I was talking to his mom once. He had like 85 wrestling matches before the age of 9. So you know, like you're just it's part of his psyche, his subconscious. Everything.
Yeah.
But how fast he's getting on the ground, it's scary. I'm seeing it in myself from like a year and a half ago when he came into right now. The way he's getting legit black belts and just like fucking takedown, brr, half guard, brr, side mount, brr, submission. What the fuck, bro? Taking guys' backs, putting a fucking triangle on him, choke him out. He's a guy that fucking could go very far and
Very
overnight,
far.
bro.
Very far. And the hype on him is so intense. Like a guy fights on the pay-per-view, his first fight in the UFC.
He doesn't even have fucking 15 minutes of cage time. He has like a total combined. I'm not exaggerating. I don't think he makes a round yet. I don't think he has 5 total minutes of combat.
It's extraordinary.
Yeah.
Elite level wrestling, in my opinion, is the best base.
The best base, for
Yeah.
sure. Because you could dictate where the fight goes, you know, if you stay up on your feet or if you take it down, you know. And it's just like, I was always fascinated by striking, so I grew up with the striking. But once I realized, like, it doesn't matter how good, fast, or hard I punch. If I can't keep it on my feet, this means nothing. I can't knock you out from being on guard or being mounted, you know. So I really, like, focused the last, like, I don't know, 14 years of my career in heavy grappling and mainly defensive, you know. When I tell you that like 70% of my mat time is just spent on like wrestling, whether it be offense or defense, and then the other stuff is striking because it just comes so naturally to me. Even like the endurance, you know. I could not spar for numerous weeks. I'll jump into American Top Team with the best guys that we have there, and if it's just straight striking, I can't get tired. It's like I could do 5 rounds and it's just chilling. Now if I gotta wrestle 5 hard minutes with another fucking All-American or national champion, different story, man.
Yeah, there's nothing like it. What weighs on you in wrestling is the kind of endurance that's required in wrestling is just so different. And that's where a guy like Yoel or a guy like Bo Nickel that spent their life doing that, they're so efficient. It's just a completely different kind of ability to push and to drain people in those exchanges.
Oh yeah, just being efficient where maybe you'll get a takedown on me, but I'm gonna get away in seconds. But if I take you down, I'm gonna fucking wear you the fuck out. I'm gonna put all your weight on your hands. I'm gonna make you carry my fucking weight. By the time we get out of here, you've been carrying me for like 3 minutes and a half. It changes you. Now your snap, your electricity, everything slows down just a bit, man. So
Are those the most frustrating losses for you, like the first fight with Kamaru or the Colby Covington fight, these wrestling heavy fights?
definitely, you know, and it's something that I like. 170 has always been like dominant. Like I feel in other divisions maybe I could have had an easier path to the title because it was like more striking oriented, things like that. At 170, it's always been since like the Matt Hughes range, GSP. It's always been like grappler, wrestler, dense, you know. And it's not frustrating. It's like fucking fuck, bro. Like, damn, I want to fight, and I prepared so hard for this like little position. Like he gets into a single leg, and if he pops his head this way, I'm gonna do this, and if he goes that way, I'm gonna do it. And I have all these game plans. Then you get there, and the guy's just better than you at that situation. Before you know it, you're on your back. Minutes gone by, now you're fucking down. You finally get back up. The guy's not engaging. He's moving like you're trying to throw strikes. So definitely frustration, you know. But like everything, man, you gotta just get better where you suck at, you know. And for the longest time, I've always known I'm gifted with the hands, the speed, the power. Where I need to always put in my time and effort, and I've always done that, is wrestling and wrestling defensive, you know?
Well, you've always been good at wrestling defensively, but what's been always extraordinary about you is like the sneaky shit, the way you set up stuff,
Yeah.
like the Darren Till knockout, the
Yeah.
way you stepped in and threw
Yeah.
that hook. Like,
Yeah.
ooh.
Yes, sir.
That was a big win, too,
Yes,
because
sir.
that was at the time when Darren Till had so much hype on him.
Yeah, he was like number 3 at the time. I
Yeah.
had like a year layoff, came back, went to his own town and did it, you know? Just like I'm about to do to Leon's bitch ass. I'm going to go to England and knock his fucking head off his shoulders. Because that's a good style matchup for me. He's not a wrestler he can't wrestle for 5 rounds, and he's not better technically than me. He's going to have to stand there with me and fucking throw blows, and that's why I'm going to fucking hurt that dude, bro.
You can't look past Gilbert, though, right?
Never look past any man, but I started training not for Gilbert, but I started training, period. I'm going to say like 4 months ago. So I'm one of the best shapes of my life. I haven't gotten no injuries, and my mind is right, man. For a long time, I didn't want to fight. I had a lot of things outside of the ring that weren't going right. So I wasn't trying to compete while all these other fucked up things were happening. I got 3 felonies on one side of the thing. I got some lawsuits, got injuries, got losses. I was like, you know what? There's a lot of bad juju I got to get out of my life. So I did, you know, in all types of shapes and aspects. I've cut out a lot of negativity and things that maybe weren't negative, but were leading to negativity, like gateways to negativity, things that I didn't need in my life. So I just I feel that for the 20 years I've been in this fucking sport, I'm in probably one of the best places right now mentally. And 8 months ago, I mean, you can see pictures online, I was like 220 pounds. I was in a fucking dark place for a fucking long time. I've been living my life very different, never to hit that rock bottom no matter what happens ever again in my life. It's just I'll never hit that again, bro. It was like the worst of the worst, you know. And
It was just because that was the first time that it happened to you?
Because of the knockout and like numerous things in my life, and the way that it was too, you know, because leading up to the first Usman fight, me and the UFC can't come to terms and agreement, right? And I'm in great shape. So the fight, 6 weeks out, gets cut out like, nah, we're not going to make it happen. You know, I wanted more money on my pay-per-view, not on my guarantee, but I'm like, man, if I'm going to sell XYZ pay-per-views, fuck, bro, I want to get paid, you know? And the fight gets cut off, and then 6 days later, they bring it to my face, and now I'm not in shape, fucking 20 pounds heavier. So I go out there, and I give it my best, and I come up short, and like, that like sinks into me like, fuck, bro, did I do the right thing? Maybe I should have taken a fucking slightly less pay cut and gone after the thing that I've always wanted the most, the fucking belt. But I also wanted to get my value, and in that I also got like a great deal with the UFC taking the fight in 6-day notice. I was able to secure some great things for me and my family, so it wasn't like a total loss, but it was already like, fuck, bro, did I do the wrong thing? And then for the second fight, me and Usman were supposed to coach Ultimate Fighter, and it was supposed to be like somewhere in September, October, they were supposed to fight. So the UFC's telling me, yeah, we're going to fight in September, October. So I tell them, hey, I'm going to go do stem cells down in Colombia. Here's all the paperwork. Is this good for you guys? Can I go do this? Since I'm going to do this in September, there's not going to be no problems. They're like, yeah, they're running through USADA. They check it with all the guys. You're good. You're going to be coaching in September, fighting by October, November. Well, while I'm in Colombia, I get the call and say, hey, we're going to have the first live event, sporting event. It's going to happen in Florida. We want you to fucking be a part of it. And I jumped on it. I was like, man, last time I fought him on 6-day notice, I did all right. Now I'm getting like 5 weeks notice. It's not in September, October, how they told me, but fuck it, I'm gonna jump on it again. And didn't work out for me, man, you know? So that sent me like into fucking like, bro, I shouldn't have took the fight. I told myself after the first fight, I won't fight this guy again without 10 weeks to prepare for him, because that's what I need to prepare for this guy. So I just went into like a fucking dark place, and for a while, and when sometimes when you're in dark places, addiction happens and fucking bad shit, and now just more bad shit breeds bad shit, and I'm hanging around the circle and maybe I shouldn't be, and it's just getting like worse. And I always thank God, man, because fuck, I saw the light, and I was like, this is not me. I come from like a much worse environment where there was drug addicts around me, where life wasn't promised to me. A $60,000 job was out of the question. Now I'm here, I've gained so much, and I'm gonna fucking let this shit beat me up. So I went David Goggins on him, I went Jordan Peterson on him, just like, bro, I'm being a fucking bitch, dog. And this is not overnight. This is like way before the Gilbert fight. I've been just fucking training and putting in the time, especially in the areas where I'm not so great. And now I feel like it's all been paying off, you know. And I'm not looking past Gilbert, but I am going to make him a stepping stone, an example. And I'm going to say now, because it's what's going to happen. And it's going to be a movie ending. I'm going to go fight Leon after that, and I'm going to fucking rip his head off, you know. Nothing personal. I know he can't stand me, but I give a fuck less about him. I just want that belt, you know.
There is Colby, and Dana has said that Colby is going to fight for the title.
Who knows? You know, Dana says a lot of things,
He
man.
does say a lot of
love
things.
Dana, but you know, now he's defended the belt against one of the best pound for pound guys. Leon, I heard, is coming to Miami. I just got to do my job.
He's coming to Miami this weekend? In 2 weeks?
Yeah, I heard that he's going to be there, you know. Or didn't he say that he was going to Miami?
I don't know. I would imagine he would want to be there.
Yeah, I heard in one of the interviews that he was coming to Miami. So I'm going to make sure I do my job and perform and fight and forget about all the other stuff. I'm just going to go out there, take care of Gilbert, and then let the chips fall where they may, you know.
What happened with you and Colby?
He's a bitch, bro. And he showed his true colors for the money, for the pay-per-view. He'd talk about my kids, my family, to maybe sell
And you
extra
were friends with
pay-per-views.
him?
No, not friends. I was fucking his everything, his mentor. I was already in Strikeforce. I had competed against Gilbert Melendez. I was an established pro when he came over to American Top Team. I was living up at American Top Team. I had an apartment over there for like about a year and change. He broke his hand. His girlfriend had fucking kicked him out of the place because he had given her fucking herpes and shit. No, I'm dead ass serious. So he had like nowhere to fucking live. So he asked if he could crash on my couch. I was like, yeah, fuck it, bro. We're both on this journey together. We train together. We play poker together. Fucking this and that. So I basically fed this dude for a fucking year. Lived on my couch. Didn't give me a fucking dollar because he didn't have a job. I had a fucking broken hand. It's all documented. It's all him on YouTube saying, Jorge Masvidal was my best friend. If it wasn't for Jorge, I wouldn't be here. And this and that. And then, you know, I'm at 155. So then I come up to 170 and I start stealing a lot of, not stealing, but I start getting a lot of shine for myself. A lot of eyeballs start looking at me. And immediately, instead of like, yeah, we're fucking boys, we could fight or whatever the fuck, he turns into something fucking ugly, you know, like everything that I did for you, you're trying to use it against me, especially my kids. He knows the relationship I have with my kids, and you're trying to use that against me. You're a fucking piece of shit. But before all that happened, I already knew he wasn't a good person because my striking coach, this is when we cut ties, me and him. My striking coach trained him from his amateur all the way to his Rafael Dos Anjos fight, and he did a handshake deal with him, 5% on your fights. You know, if you make $1,000, you make $500,000. 5% is what you're gonna pay me because that's what Joel Romero pays me. That's what Jorge Masvidal pays me. That's what all the guys that train with him pay him. You know, and he's like accessible at all times. He will drive an hour this way, drive an hour back that way, and just give you all his knowledge. And that's what he wanted. You know, and they shook hands on it. As soon as Kobe made money, what did he do? Didn't pay my coach. So since then, I was like, bro, I want to fucking take a bat to his fucking neck. And my coach is like, don't do it, bro. You'll fight him, and that's how you'll get him for both of us. You know, I didn't get him that time, but I promise you, before my career's over, I'm gonna fucking murder Kobe in the cage, legally.
Legally. What happened illegally?
Allegedly, a lot of things happened.
Allegedly.
Bro. I don't know. They're saying a lot of things, but it's all allegedly, cuz. Shit, man.
Allegedly is a great word.
Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about, man. But legally, in the cage, in the UFC, I'm going to fucking snatch his soul one way or another. And that's also something that, you know, losing a piece of shit like that, you know, like if you let somebody come into you and you share something with me, like, man, something is very dear to me. It's this moment where my mom, blah, 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 and this and that. And then I would use that because me and you had a falling out. It really shows your fucking character. Like, you're a fucking piece of shit, bro, you know? And that's why nobody fucks with this guy. Like, nobody fucks with this guy in any level, in any accord, you know?
Well, it's a crazy story.
John Jones can't stand him. He had a very similar thing with John Jones.
He changed who he was when the UFC was about to cut him. And he decided to become like a wrestling heel.
Shit on a whole country just for what? Like,
it worked, though. I mean, the thing about it is it's kind of genius in the fact that it really did get people paying attention to him.
In a negative way, but, you know, I feel that he could have just been beating people, put more time into the craft rather than Twitter and trying to copy other heels, and it would have been fine. Like, this guy just, oh, what is Conor doing today? Let me go do that on a cheaper, shittier way, you know? Like, be fucking you, bro. You know, just fucking go out there and beat dudes up and say what you got to say, and it'll come to you. It took me a while to get here, you know? I had to fucking knock out and beat numerous fucking people, ex-world champions to get here, but it'll come. You don't have to sell out for the fucking dollar, bro.
What was it like fighting him?
I wanted to fucking kill him. I wanted to hurt him. But it wasn't the best version of me, bro. It just wasn't the best version of me. And, you know, in this sport, this is what I love about it. It's like what happened, and everything else is bullshit, right? So until we fight again, nobody will get to see that better version of me. But I promise you, Joe, before I close this chapter in my life in MMA, I will have competed against this guy. I'm going to fucking take his soul, bro. I just know it after being those 5 rounds in there with him, and that was the best that he had, and that was nowhere near my best at that time for different reasons. I know I could fucking end this guy.
What if the UFC comes to you and says you versus Colby, winner for the title? Do you think that's a possible scenario?
That's definitely a possible scenario.
Especially if
I would love that because I'd stop him from his dream of fighting for that title.
If you could somehow or another shock the world in a way with this Gilbert fight, where it's just undeniable, where people just get so fired up about it, and then he starts jabbing because he thinks that somehow or another you're going to take that title shot from him. That would be the scenario that I could see you guys.
Then I would take the title shot from him, you know, and I'd go fight Leon. And since the start of it, I said this from a technical aspect, like I fight nothing but wrestler after wrestler after wrestler after wrestler. So it's like I said it numerous times in interviews, like I want to fight guys that are a little bit more favorable for my style while I work on my wrestling. It's not that I'm putting wrestling to the back burner, but while I'm learning techniques, I'm flying in different coaches across the country just to come wrestle with me, work from the basics, work from zero all the way up. And that's what I've been doing the last 6 months, just like bringing in phenomenal Bo Nickel's dad, Jason Nickel, came out like 6 weeks just helping me out. And this is a guy that Bo Nickel gives a ton of credit to. He's like, man, my dad literally showed me 80% of my game, bro. Like, get with him and see what he could do. And it just so happens that he was in Florida. He was coming out to Florida. So I got to work with him a fucking ton, you know? And I just got to learn like stuff like from a basic level because I skipped high school wrestling, you know? I didn't go to college wrestling. There's a lot of little chinks and mistakes. My mind is not weak. I might get beat, but it's not because my will was in question. Nothing. It's because, all right, you're better in that position. You're more efficient in that position. Let me fix him up. And especially in wrestling, you know, if you got the heart and determination, the grit to just keep coming after, I could fix these mistakes. That's all I've been doing these like last 6 to 8 months. And when I get in there with Gil, he's gonna fucking feel it right away, bro. Like you're not getting a takedown on me no matter what happens, brother.
The thing about the Colby fight was Colby is a very good wrestler.
And he has a good gas tank, and he's a fucking leech. You know, that collegiate style, one thing that they could, you know, you could see from any of those guys is they could fucking dig down deep and get like a takedown when they're tired. They're good at putting themselves at bad spots and scoring. And also, not to like fucking make excuses, but I also do think that the rules are favored heavily towards like a grappler wrestling type. Because if you're on your knees sniffing crotches, I should be able to fucking knee you in the face.
Yes.
Like, what is this bullshit that I can't, if a guy's like this,
right,
and he has 350 matches, and he's used to scoring here, and I can't punch in the back of the head. I can't even punch in the bottom because your face is down. The only thing logically I could do is knee you with the other knee you're not grabbing, but they don't let us do that. So a lot of the rules, I think, favor grappling in like certain departments. It's not to make an excuse. It's the truth because a fight is a fight. If you're grabbing, if you're trying to suck in my leg, why can't I fucking use it as a knee?
100%.
Okay, I'll give it to you and fucking knee you in the jaw. You're going to fucking turtle up real quick. You're going to shell up or they're going to drop guard, you know?
I agree with that 100%.
You know, there's a lot of things that it kind of leans towards wrestling.
the
and
downed opponent thing where you can touch one hand down. I know they've changed that in some places, but there's other places that still consider one hand a downed opponent. It's crazy. It doesn't make any sense, and it does favor the grappler. It's also unrealistic.
Unrealistic. And
Like if a
that's the
guy
thing
is
that
on the ground, like I think you should be able to knee him in the head. I mean, you see it in ONE FC, you see it in a lot of other places. That's a legitimate position, and don't be in that position then because it's the way the fight's going to get stopped.
How many times you see like a guy that's been wrestling could be in that position, dead tired out of his mind, shoots a horrible shot, gets on his knees and stays there for like 20 seconds.
And all you can do is
catches
punch his
breath,
body.
and then
Yeah.
gets back up and finishes.
Yes.
He's more skilled, he's more efficient there, yes, but it's not realistic. Like you said, in a real fight, you'd get your fucking eye orbital crushed in, you know?
100%. And you would never stay in that position.
You wouldn't.
You would know there's danger in that
You wouldn't.
position. Just
You
like
wouldn't.
every other position. It's like, I mean, if we're looking at it as the art of fighting, and this is what the sport is as close to real fighting as you can get. There's no way you should be able to do that. There's no way you should be able to be on your knees working for a takedown and not get kneed in the face.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense because
100%.
why you're vulnerable. That's like don't do that because of the vulnerability. But there's other positions where you don't do something because of the vulnerability and you get hit. Like in that one, we shield the wrestler from that potential situation of getting kneed in the face.
And it would
Doesn't make sense either.
It would just change a lot of outcomes of fights if that
It would.
gets instituted. Like overnight, we'd see a swing in like wrestling holding like dominance in MMA a lot. It would even out the playing field a lot in overnight.
I don't even know if we should stop hitting people in the back of the head. That doesn't make any sense to me because there's a lot of knockouts like high kicks. They wrap around the
Right
back
around
of the
the head.
shoulder and they go right to the back of your head and it's legal and the guy gets KO'd.
And there's a lot of times where a guy's fucking half fight knocked out, and you know, perfect example, Dustin Poirier versus Conor. He hit him like 3 times in the back of the head solid, then he goes limp. It's like what the fuck? Just it's at the referee's discretion now who could hit in the back of the head and who can't, you know?
Exactly.
So
in wild exchanges
Yeah,
and scrambles, shot like Cyril Gane and Junior Dos Santos. He kind of hit him with an elbow in the back of the head. It's like it should be legal. I don't understand why it's not legal. And people say you're more vulnerable there. Well, don't fucking get hit
Don't
there.
get there.
You know, Eddie Bravo's talked about this all the time. The old days of MMA, when a guy got someone's back, they would just drop elbows down on his head.
Done.
Back of the head. If you have your back and the head is there, all this punching just to the side is not realistic.
Not realistic.
The back of the head with elbows.
just one of them.
And they say it's
And then
more
it also-
dangerous, but
It also opens you up to get away as well. It causes more action. So now if you're cocking back and you hit me once in the back of the head and you cock back again, I might do like a somersault to get away from
Yes.
you. I might go for a leg. I might do something to get away there, and you're giving me the space. So it would only bring more action.
yeah, it'd be more action and also more realistic because you realize you can't just lie flat on your back. You're fucked. Like, you better protect the back of your neck because it's very, very vulnerable. So guys would have to, when they lie on the back or lie on their stomach, they have to protect their fucking head, and then they would have to try to roll.
Yes,
they would
sir.
have to do something to get out of that position instead of just realizing that you can kind of hold there and cover the sides of your faces because you could leave the back of your head exposed. I mean, I'm sure if you talk to a neuroscientist, they say that's a particularly vulnerable area, but fuck, man, isn't the temple, aren't the eyes? Everything is so vulnerable, and all those illegal. You could elbow a dude in the fucking eye socket, 100% legal. So explain to me why the back of the head is so much more vulnerable. I don't get it.
In theory, somebody could fucking knee you in the ribs, breaks your rib, and your rib punctures your lung.
Yes, of course.
Separate meaning things.
There's
That's
so
why-
many vulnerabilities. There's so many things that are legal, like the side kick to the knee. I mean, the side kick to the knee is a crazy move. It's like you
Yeah,
have the
you're
potential to
ending careers.
ruin. Yes.
And that was always like gray area, like it's illegal, and then some guys they like get away with it, and then other guys they wouldn't, and now everybody could do it. But for a long time, sidekick in the knee was fucking illegal.
How long was it illegal for? When did it become legal?
I remember this much. When I was fighting Gilbert Melendez, I was doing something like that, like some tie teeps to the leg, and the referee called my attention on like the second one. He's like, hey,
Really?
yeah. You know, Gilbert said something like referee called my attention immediately. So it was like very gray area.
So this is Strike Force?
This is Strike Force, you know.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I was like,
Interesting.
okay, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, it is fucking weird because, I talked to Eddie Bravo about that, and Eddie's like, well, why, if that's illegal, then why is a heel hook legal? Because if you get a guy like Pujares, like Husamar Pujares, who just rip your fucking shit apart
It's like
and
a
not
fucking
let go.
Dog on the bone. Yeah.
Oh, my God. So here's Khalil Roundtree. That was the worst one I ever saw. Oh, my God. That was against Bukakis. And he just side-kicked his knee into oblivion. It was horrible. And Khalil can fucking kick. Woo! Khalil Roundtree versus Eric Anders is like one of my all-time favorite performances.
Yeah, he came out straight tie, right?
Straight tie, light on the. I mean, me and DC were going crazy. Like, look at him, because he had lost to Johnny Walker and then said, you know what, I gotta learn elbows in the clinch. I gotta learn Thai fighting, and went to Thailand and just fell in love with Muay Thai.
He came back with teeps and
Looked
low
like a
kicks
Thai
and middle
fighter.
kicks and high kicks. Picked it up rather quick.
Khalil Roundtree's so goddamn talented. Like, he's a guy that
When did he
gets
start?
focused and not focused. He's been around a long time. He used to train at Vanderlei's gym when Vanderlei had that gym in Vegas.
Okay.
He's a wild stories about that gym. They would just
Yeah,
fight.
yeah, fucking fight. That's what
Old school Curitiba Chutebak style. Just wail on each other.
Not just to plug in my promotion for bare knuckle fighting, but I love bare knuckle fighting because the grappling also feels like a little bit more realistic with no glove. You know, like for submission guys, it's a little bit more like they got that grip. They take the back, the rear naked is like a little bit easy to hold.
Yes.
So I'm a big component also for, you know, just tape the hands up and fucking go, you know, and it serves strikers and grapplers, you know?
I agree. And I think it also gives people a much more realistic sense of what you could do with your hands.
Yeah.
Because if you just tee off and throw wild punches and hit guys in the head, you're going to break your fucking hand. It happens all the time.
Gone.
You have to be much more precise in the placement of your hands.
Yeah.
And it's never made any sense to me that why your hands are wrapped up and taped and padded, but your elbows aren't?
Yeah.
Your shins aren't?
Your knees aren't.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy, right? Like sheer bone to bone.
Because this, in power, not even that, you know, like the cuts and all that, in just sheer power, the elbow's closer to your body, which is generating the power. So you know the elbow's going to be strong. The knee's closer to your body, so you know it's generating more power than the punch. You know, that's why in Thai boxing, they have boxing is like the least ranking for the points. You know, you kick somebody in the arm, it's almost more meaningful to them than getting punched in the face. You know, because the kick is a fucking kick, man. It's a baseball bat to your fucking arm.
Oh, especially the way those guys throw them. I mean, it's just, I don't know why we insist on gloves. I mean, the one thing it would be cuts. Like, guys would get cut. Like, you see bare knuckle boxing, guys get cut up left and right.
Left and right.
Yeah. Are you going to do bare knuckle MMA? Are you going to do a promotion with that?
I have a promotion.
It is bare knuckle MMA?
We've put on like 4 or 5 shows already. And
so I thought it was bare knuckle boxing.
No, MMA.
Oh,
We've had
shit. You got any highlights?
Matches.
Let me see some of this.
Yeah, we got some highlights up on YouTube. You can go to the YouTube page.
So here it is. Oh, yeah. So this is your promotion?
Let me see. Yep.
Yeah, so I agree with that. I really feel like that's the... I feel
this is Alex Nichols. He's a fucking madman too, bro.
I've always felt 2 things should change, that bare knuckle was the way to go, and then 2, no cage. I've been saying forever, like, if you could play football in a big field, why can't you fight in a big field? If you could play basketball in a big court, why can't you fight in a big court where you can't just hold someone against a cage?
Yeah.
There's none of that. Like, there's got to be a way to not have a cage.
But we have to have some type of... So boundary. A guy can't, like you can't run away from it forever either, you know. But definitely, I do feel you in that. Like, just let's explore with it, see what we can do.
Take away this additional variable, because there's a variable when your back is up against the cage and someone's pressed you here. Like, that shouldn't be there. Like, in a natural world with no cage, you're spinning away from it. And then also, if a guy takes you down, there's no cage to wall walk.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of variables that you introduce, and then also it's easier to see.
Yeah.
You know, like sometimes even when I'm as close as anybody gets to the fights, and sometimes I have to look at the monitor because I can't see shit.
Yeah, poles are in your way. The freaking what are they though? Where the advertisements at?
Another variable that takes away from the sport in some way.
Yeah.
I feel like just a fucking big open space where you have to like
an empty pool or something, like a huge empty pool, like blood sport.
But even in the pool, people would push you up against the side of the pool. I feel like Frank Shamrock did a thing for a while where he had a flat surface and it was curved up in the end, like World Combat Fighting.
Oh yeah,
like Chuck Norris's thing that he had. Yeah.
Have you seen the karate?
Yes, they do it.
Right?
Yeah, Boss Rutan's thing. Yeah, they do it like that too. I like that.
Yeah, the set is fucking also beautiful.
Yeah.
Man.
That's pretty dope.
That's Boss Rutan's thing?
Yeah, Boss Rutan's the commentator on that.
Wow, what a fucking
Oh,
I thought you meant like he made
I think he's a part of it in some way.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
He's always been an innovator.
He moved out here too.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's
he's
out here
always a
too.
long time LA boy, man. That's crazy.
Yeah,
man.
he's like, fuck this
He's
place.
a fucking legend.
He's
too,
an
bro.
animal. I
Why-
love that guy.
Yeah, bro. He's one of the dudes I used to look at because I would always like gravitate, obviously, to whoever was a champion near my weight class. But like great strikers, I just fucking would fucking soak it up. Just like, what is this guy doing? How did he land that kick over and over? What little setups is he doing? You know. So I'd always digest a lot of these fucking great strikers, especially if they came from a great striking background and then translate into MMA. Just to like, what are they doing to be able to fucking stay afloat with these grapplers or wrestlers? You know.
Yeah.
Shit
Well,
like that.
Boss came into MMA at a time where there weren't strikers like him yet.
No.
And he was the most elite striker at his time, for sure. And he was fucking people up. When he fought Tyoshi Kosaka,
Oh my
like,
gosh.
woo!
Yeah. Like if you couldn't take that guy down, fucking good
Yeah.
luck, bro. Tree trunks of legs, elbows, knees.
Power. Everything was power. Everything was fucking, that Dutch kickboxing style. Power.
Which is one of my favorite, bro. Those fucking Dutches go at it, my brother.
I mean, think about Holland, the amount of killers. Ernesto Hoost, Peter Ertz, I mean, Remy Bonjasky, like so many fucking assassins, Semi-Schilt. Everybody came from Holland. You know?
Such a fucking
Badr Hari,
small little country.
Melvin Manhoof. Woo!
Tyrone Spong. We were
Yeah,
just
so
talking
many
about him, bro.
guys came from that area. So many guys came from that style of fighting.
The French do pretty good too with the Thai. They
Oh,
produce
yeah.
a lot of good Thai guys as well.
Yes,
England as
definitely.
well.
Yes, yeah.
It's
Cedric
more-
Doumbé.
Yeah.
Yeah. Woo, that
Yeah.
motherfucker. He's a bad man.
It's getting closer because it used to be just like I still believe in kickboxing. Kickboxing in Holland's like fucking one of the best. But like in Thai boxing and stuff, you know, like France is pretty fucking good, man. They got some
Yes.
killers, bro.
Yes, they do. They've embraced it. It's interesting how Europeans embraced Thai fighting much earlier. And I never understood why Thai boxing never became huge in America. I didn't understand it.
I think
we love
boxing promoters just shut it out straight up, to be honest with you.
Yes, but why is no? I mean, look, think about what the UFC has done with slap fighting, which this is not really my thing. But Muay Thai, I feel like, is more marketable. You get like elite Joe Schilling type strikers and have like Glory did. Glory is wild. I fucking love Glory.
Love Glory.
I just don't understand why it didn't become more popular. And the only thing that makes sense to me was it wasn't promoted correctly. But if you got a big promotion like the UFC's promotion machine behind world-class kickboxing, I think it could be as big as MMA. I think it could be as big as pro boxing.
It's just be action packed.
Yes.
3-second clinch break, boom, go back
Yes.
at it again.
I mean, it's what people like to watch. People like to watch striking. I mean, there's a lot of casual fans. I mean, look, I love jiu-jitsu, obviously, but there's something about elite striking that translates to anybody and everybody. You don't have to know anything. You watch a dude get kicked in the face, you know exactly what happened.
Oh shit, that guy
Yeah.
just died.
Yeah,
Look at
wow.
this, you know.
Yeah, I mean, and you see these guys, and you see how ONE FC is doing it. I think ONE FC is doing it in an amazing way. They have guys like Nikki Holtzkin and Urso, and
Nikki's a fucking
oh my
beast,
god,
bro.
Whew.
Nikki's another guy that's been in there forever. He fought
Forever.
Bull Cow when he was like 19.
Oh,
back
he's
in
a fucking murderer.
in the K1 back then, bro. He's fighting the world's best, and now you look at him, he's still fighting the world's best and dogging him at times, bro.
Fucking people up, man. And you know, when he was in Glory, when he was a Glory champion, I mean, my God, you just don't see that popularity in America. And I know Glory
I
tried
think the
for a
boxing
while.
promoters just shut it out, man.
How? I really feel like the UFC could have done that, and I feel like maybe if the slap fighting thing doesn't work out, maybe the UFC could do that, because I think that in that you really have the potential for a whole new avenue of sport. It's so accessible, so obvious to watch. It's so fun. There's so much talent.
And those guys are fighting for pennies, bro. You start offering
Nothing.
them, you start offering them some real checks. bro, it's
Yes,
gonna get
that's what
fucking
I'm
nuts.
saying.
It's gonna
Have
get
some
nuts.
elite fighters over here that are fighting for millions. Oh my God.
You don't hear about that in kickboxing. You know, maybe Glory paying out one particular individual hundreds of thousands of dollars, but you don't hear about $1 million paychecks
No.
ever for Thai boxing, for kickboxing, ever.
Look, I mean, it hit the Glory days in K1 in Japan.
Ooh.
K1 in Japan, the Mark
That
Hunt
was
days, and
Mike Crow Copper.
oh my God, oh my God, those fights were fucking incredible. Those were
Peter
amazing
Arts.
times. Yes, Jerome LeBanner.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
my
bro.
God, I mean,
That guy
amazing
That
times.
guy looked like right out of a fucking movie, bro.
And those motherfuckers knocked each other out all the time.
And that's what I love, because they would just keep fighting each other.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, I beat this guy, I'm never going to fight him. It was
Yeah.
like, no, we fight each other 3-4 times.
Yeah,
How
Andy
it is, you know, if you're
Hook.
the best, fight the best.
Yeah, I mean, and it's so, I just don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. It's not like it's a bad product.
Running through everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Teeping people in the fucking face all the way to the finals, bro.
Oh, yeah, that left kick. Oh, wow.
We grew up on the same shit, bro.
Yes.
It was not no party, not no girl, not no. When it was like K1 or Pride was on, nothing mattered.
Yeah.
Just stuck on stupid, bro. Like, I watched paint dry all fucking day when it came to that shit. It was just fucking everything, bro.
And the fights were fucking incredible. To this day, if you go back and watch, like, Mr. Perfect, when Ernesto was in his prime, and he would throw that left hook to the body and that right low kick, my God.
And you've seen all the tape. You've seen 100 fights. He's going to low kick you.
Yeah.
And he's going to throw left hook. But you're not going to stop it, bro.
You're not going to stop
the
it.
The timing, the setup, the everything.
Everything.
Man. This is crazy with the Bob Sapp fights, right?
Like, I know. Bob was too big. Bob was too big.
But then Crow Cop got him, handled him, and Ernesto always handled Crow Cop like 3 different times. So it was just like, what the fuck is
Crow
going
Cop
on?
broke his eyeball with one punch.
Yeah.
He caught him with that straight left. Crow Cop, he translated so well to MMA because he was so explosive. Mm-hmm. Like, Crow Cop was so fast and so explosive.
He must have been a strong guy, too, because he got in there with some grapplers and he could fucking fend them off. He must have just naturally been like a sturdy motherfucker.
Oh, he was strong as fuck.
And then it's crazy. He gets KO'd by Gonzaga, right?
I know. And he got Crow Copped.
Fuck.
He basically got Crow Cop. But Gonzaga worked him over so bad before that. Elbowed the shit out of him on the ground. I think he was already loopy by the time he got up.
But still crazy that that's the technique you've been landing on everybody, and somebody caught you with it. And that somebody's not like a decorate. Like, he couldn't, in a kickboxing match, he couldn't even hold Crow Cop's jockstrap. But in a fight, anything can happen, bro.
Anything. I know. That was a crazy kick, too. Boom. Shin to the dome. And to see Crow Cop fold and go out like that, I was like, oh, my God.
It looked like it destroyed his knee on the way down.
Yeah.
New ACLs needed now.
Yeah, it's, I just don't understand why no one's figured out how to do it right. It just makes sense. I mean, the fact that the UFC is involved in the slap fighting thing, which was like, I guess, easy to promote because it's easy to watch, but is it any more easy than kickboxing? And kickboxing makes more sense to me. It's like it fits in to combat
martial
sports.
Artish, it's more like strategy oriented, athlete versus athlete. And these guys have been
solving puzzles.
7-8 years old, they're already in the fucking gym giving it all they got. And if we're talking about Thai guys, they're 20 years old and they have 250 fights,
Yes.
Why not, right?
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, just to me, it's one of the great mysteries of combat sports why Muay Thai hasn't become more famous in America. Because it's fucking exciting. Like, when ONE FC puts on those Muay Thai fights, like, Jesus Christ, man, there's some of the most exciting fights.
Yeah. Especially like the Mighty Mouse crossover versus Raw Tang. Like, I short circuit every time. It's like, fucking, I'm foaming at them. I have to see what one round's going to be all striking, another round's going to be everything involved.
Yeah.
I fucking lose my mind. And hats off to Mighty Mouse for doing that, because Raw Tang is not a guy I want to get in front of, bro. That guy is fucking good, man.
He's fucking good.
That just shows you, everybody can have their favorite of all time. I think on a technical level, Mighty Mouse might be hands down the best fighter I've ever seen.
I think on a technical level, you're correct. I think on accomplishment level, it's John Jones. But I think because I think John Jones fought tougher guys. I think Mighty Mouse was running through everybody, but other than Cejudo and Benavidez and a couple other guys, they weren't really on his level.
But also the way he Mighty Mouse beat guys like armbar, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt world champions, legitimate. What's his name? The guy that he armbarred that legitimately won a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion.
Was that Wilson? Wilson Hayes?
Yes, bro. And he's a legit, like, not some bullshit overnight company. No, he's like a legit world champion. And for you to armbar that guy, like, fuck, bro, your technique is so on point.
Mighty can do it all. He can do it all. And what a nice guy.
It just sucks he's 125. Bro.
I know. That's the problem. He's 5'3", fights at 125.
Because he was finishing guys too, bro. And just excitement from the thing. Like, when I do a checklist, right, like, can this guy throw a body kick? Can this guy throw a left hook? Does he have good defense? He, like, checks off on all the boxes for me,
all the boxes. And the footwork and the movement and the speed and the execution.
Endurance was never a question.
Never
a question.
And the thing about those light guys is it's all technique. Because, like, they can go and go and go. Yeah. So you get to see the purest version of technique.
Those engines they're just different at 25, 35.
It's interesting, though. Here's what Ray Borg. That's a different one, but that one's pretty fucking extraordinary too.
That's a fucking.
The fact that he
mat
took him
return
down
to
with a
an armbar.
suplex and then armbarred the shit out of him. Yeah, he was.
And this was like in the 4th or 5th round, so the energy that he still has pumping at that stage, bro.
What's incredible to me is that 25 never got much attention.
Nope.
But 35 gets a lot of attention. It's only 10 pounds more. It's kind of crazy. 35 has been like this chaotic, like very hyped up weight class. But other than like Brandon Moreno, he gets so much love from the Mexicans, obviously. And then, Davis and Figueiredo, who, they fought 4 fucking times. The other than those fights, there's not a lot of hype at that featherweight division.
Well, for us, because we were like hardcores, maybe like Cejudo versus Mighty Mouse.
Yes.
Some of the better ones. And the
was
second fight, it was close, man.
Yes.
They could have given it to Mighty Mouse to me. So
easily. It was a very close fight.
It was a very close fight. So it's like, those were maybe that I could think of like the more evenly matched, contested, great fights at 125.
I'm very interested to see what happens when Cejudo comes back and fights Aljamain.
Yeah, that's happening officially. Huh?
Yeah.
I think Cejudo's another one of these greats of all time, bro. He could do it all.
He could do it all.
You're not
Olympic
you're probably,
gold medalist in wrestling.
You're probably
fantastic
not beating this guy
striker.
wrestling, Yeah. I don't see many people being able to take him down.
Right, and that's the problem is Aljamain's biggest strength is his grappling.
Yeah.
So when is this one? May 8th, Newark, New Jersey. Oh, shit.
But is the size going to play a difference? Maybe, he could get to like
Aljamain's
some
a big fella.
Yeah.
He's
a
big,
to some tough spots and put like a body triangle on Cejudo, and then who knows, right? But
well, he's as big as you get for 135, and he's ripped.
Crazy wingspan arms.
Yeah. It's just, I think, on the feet, I think Cejudo has an advantage.
The power.
I think he has
the
a
power
that
nobody at 25 and 35 has. Cejudo generates it, bro.
Well, when he went through Dominic Cruz like that, I was like, oh, my God. Just smashing those legs, and just stops him and beats him up. I mean, that was pretty fucking extraordinary.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking extraordinary. That whole weight class is filled with assassins. You got Cheeto Vera this weekend.
That's my boy, man.
Versus
I love that guy.
Sanhagen. Woo!
Yeah.
Cheeto Vera's a bad motherfucker. The way he KO'd Dominic was wild. That's this weekend, kids. That's a big one.
Great calf kicks.
It's right down the street, too.
Good
It's in San
jiu-jitsu.
Antonio. Oh, he's
good
got
defensive
everything.
wrestling.
And motherfucker's so disciplined.
Yeah.
Cheeto's so disciplined. I mean, every day he's putting in long miles, hard training, keeps getting better, focused, eyes on the prize. You know.
And Sam Hagen's like this new breed that he's good everywhere. He's
good
fucking
everywhere.
Flying knees.
Yeah.
The way he did Frankie, I was surprised.
Oh.
I was like, fuck, bro. This dude is beyond the truth. He's legit, bro. He's going to be here for a minute, bro.
Oh, yeah. He's
That's what I
very
knew,
legit. And, a guy like that benefits so much from being in that Shark Tank of a division. Sugar Sean O'Malley and Aljamain and Piotr Jan. And how about Marab? Davishwali, the way he fucking ran through Piotr, I was like, holy fucking
humongous
shit.
Piotr fan. Got to see him at the gym for one of his camps. He came in for like 8 weeks. Just his work ethic, his meanness, his toughness. So to see Medabal do that to him, I was
Marab is a motherfucker. He is a motherfucker, man. That guy does not get tired.
What's going on there? That's a guy that's like, you seen that documentary 14 Peaks?
No. Oh, yeah. Nims died. Yeah, I had him on the podcast.
That's like Merrill with the lungs. The lungs too. Like you just know he's born with something a little different in the gas tank. Like he's a little mutated there,
Yeah, a little bit.
How many attempts did he put up? 48 takedown attempts.
Yeah, never stopped.
And he's just going for them. He's punching, kicking till he hits exhaustion. Then he shoots him for the takedown, and he's it's like kind of like he's making guys fight at the E level just like him, But he functions better on E, so he's just not giving you a break. Punch, kick, shoot, shoot. And he's tired, but the other guy's way more fucking tired.
He's also got that immigrant mentality.
Oh, yeah.
What Joey Diaz calls the immigrant mentality. It's like something about that dude. He's hungry. Like there's a video of him when he was working a construction job, when he had to like break down walls. He's throwing spinning back kicks into walls to break them down. He's like fucking around while he's working. And working a full-time job and still competing as an elite fighter. And now that he's at the top of the heap, and he's in line for a title shot. I mean, the problem is if Aljamain beats Henry,
they won't fight, right?
They won't fight. They love each other.
Yeah.
But Aljamain might go up to 45 anyway. He hates cutting that weight.
Cejudo versus
Marab. Oh my God.
Whoa, because you're talking about one of our best wrestlers going against this fucking, which he's naturally bigger in. definitely naturally bigger than Cejudo, but Cejudo has a fucking skill set.
He also is the game plan master. You know, I talked to Mighty Mouse about him, and Mighty Mouse did some training down there, and he said he's never met a dude who's more meticulous about his training and what he's trying to accomplish and how he has all his goals aligned. He's like, it was very inspirational.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cejudo, bro.
There's so many good fights coming up, man.
And if he beats Aljamain Sterling, I don't care what you say. You got to rank Cejudo up there on MMA Mount Rushmore, bro. You have
100%. I think he's already there.
And if he goes and fights Volkanovski like he's been saying for years,
that would be wild.
He might be, if he was to beat Volkanovski, I think he'd be the greatest fighter maybe in my generation.
He would be the first guy to win 3 titles in 3 different weight classes.
And an Olympic
If he beats Aljamain, and an Olympic gold medalist. If he beats Aljamain and then goes up to 45 with Volkanovski, holy fuck. But Volkanovski's got to get past Yair Rodriguez.
Yes. Woo! Wow. Right. Yeah. I remember, you know, I watch all the fighters, like the Latin fighters, I actually like to watch him, cheer him on, you know. And, like, I remember him coming in, like, the wrestling wasn't there, submissions quite weren't as there, you know, this and that. To see the last 4 years of transformation that he's fucking done. And shout out to his company, Upper Management. I know a lot of those guys well, so I know how he trains. He goes to elevation of, like, 12,000 fucking feet in this Mexican, like, Aztec temple where they used to do, like, ceremonies, sacrifice, all this crazy shit. Like, you gotta ask Yair where he goes. I've seen the videos, pictures.
He trains
inviting,
up there.
like, it's 12,000 fucking feet of nothing up there. That you can't have a phone there, nothing. It's like sacred ground. So he just brings his camp. He locks himself over like 8-10 weeks, and I'm not exaggerating to you in any way, shape, or form. That's all he fucking does.
Wow.
And he's been doing that for his last 5-6 fights, and bro, it's paying fucking so much dividends. Like, he's a different guy, you know. And he's got a good style, I think, for Volkanovski. The range, the speed, the kicks, the wildness, the fucking weird elbows, you know.
Creativity.
And he's long, and he's like fucking, I've worked out with him. He has this wiry strength where at the beginning he didn't know wrestling, so he was getting beat out in these positions. He's with a great coach, Izzy style wrestling. And man, this fucking dude is like crazy genetic, like with his like strength level for wiriness. He's fucking very gifted, you know. Mix that in there with the striking, I think it's gonna be fucking amazing fight. Or him versus Cejudo would be another fucking short-circuiting fucking thing, bro.
That would be insane. Well, I was very impressed with him when he fought Max Holloway, because I was like, look, Max Holloway in that fight was in his prime, and that was a very, very close fight.
Yeah.
And he was fucking Max legs up.
Yeah. And Max is one of my favorite of all time.
One of my favorite of all time. Max is the man. He's the man. He's such a good dude, too. Yeah. He's such a fun guy.
And he's a fucking fighter.
He's a fucking fighter.
He's a fucking fighter, bro.
Yeah.
That's a bad motherfucker.
When he fought Calvin Kattar and he's like talking shit the whole time, he's like, I'm the best boxer in the UFC. He's like talking to the guys and people are throwing punches at him. And Calvin's throwing punches at him. He's just sliding out of the
Calvin's
way.
no fucking slouch, bro. I think that
Calvin's
kid's a beast,
an
bro.
animal.
He's going to be around for a minute, bro. I won't be surprised that guy gets a title later on down the road, bro.
Yeah, if he can learn from those fights, for sure, and continue to keep improving.
Yeah.
It's what a division. That 45-pound division is crazy.
45, 55, 70, it's always fucking nuts,
there's so much going. Look at it. He's just talking shit to him, and Calvin's like, what?
The gas tank Mike.
Look at it. Look at him, like, moving around, talking. I'm the best boxer. Amazing. That was an amazing fight. And, you know, when you watch his fight with Yair, I rewatched that a couple of months ago. And I was just like, Yair is the most dynamic kicker in the sport.
Yeah.
He's so wild. Like, the stuff that he does, he's throwing wheel kicks. And
that Taekwondo background, man.
Yeah. He hit BJ Penn with a 360 roundhouse kick. 360 roundhouse kick in a fucking MMA fight to the face. It's like, he can do wild shit and he can submit people. And when he beat Josh with a triangle off of his back, I was like, God damn.
That's what I'm telling you. I worked out with him, and I usually work out with 70-pounders, 85-pounders, a couple 55-pounders here at American Top Team. That we got some standouts. Grant Dawson, she's like, I think 6, and he has 1 draw, and he's like on a 6-fight winning streak. Guy's a fucking phenomenal grappler. I've worked out with a lot of great grapplers throughout my time, especially because those are the guys that I choose to go with. When I tell you that Yair for 45 has like unreal strength, it's impressive, bro. It's just like fucking wiry, freaky, like he's crazy long for the weight, and you get him in uncomfortable spots. And I think because of the Taekwondo, they develop like so much dexterity and rotation of muscles. He could do like a split and defend takedowns and then fucking threaten submissions. I had a couple times to work out with him. The kid's impressive, bro. Like, he's not getting ran over no more by anybody in the grappling, I think, bro.
Yeah, he's wild. And the Volkanovski fight is such an interesting fight because Volkanovski's such a tank. Look, I thought, you know,
Beat Islam?
I thought he beat him. You know, I watched it again over and over again, and it really comes down to that second round, and I gave him an advantage in that second round. I watched it many times.
Because it's kind of like we're watching a fight, man.
Who's winning
damage.
at the end?
Yeah.
Who's on top at the end?
And who would you rather be at the end of the fight?
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
That's what a fight is. You might have outpositioned him here and there, but, man, I thought I was the same way. But initially I felt the same way. Like, man, maybe I'm caught up in the moment. I'm a
Me
huge
too.
Volk fan.
Yeah.
I love what Islam does because he's trying to hurt guys and put them out and submit them. I don't think he's like a crotch sniffer. He's taking guys down and trying to finish them, you know. So I like that, but I really thought, man, I think Volk watched it. And then when I watched it the second time, and it wasn't in a big group, you know, it was like, I still think Volk won, man. And it just because of the damage alone, you know, like it's a fucking fight. It's not a grappling match, you know. And if you dominate somebody in grappling, I could give that. But when you're getting stuffed, when you're getting punched in the face, and then the fifth round, he's ending on top of you, fucking bam, socking you
even
up.
the round when Islam had his back and Volk's just punched him in the face and talking shit and just
Do something, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, why is that position good? It's only good if you're threatening with submissions, and he wasn't really threatening.
Or if you're threatening with punches or something.
Yeah.
If you're just fucking, you're doing everything possible to negate a fight. And that, if I was a judge, I was always look at it like you're doing everything in your power not to fight.
It's kind of stalling.
No,
it's kind of stalling.
It's not. It's 100% stalling.
Yeah. You know what won't be stalling is Adesanya and Pereira too.
No.
3, 4. What is it now? 4.
4.
Well, 2 kickboxing and 2 MMA. So this will be 2 in MMA. This is their second fight in the UFC. That's the fucking fight, man. My God.
That was one of my favorite fights to see. I think it was like some of the best stand-up we've seen in a while.
Oh,
in
for
MMA,
sure.
You know,
For sure.
Izzy's so creative, athletic, has crazy experience in it, and Pereira's like a fucking Terminator, bro. He obviously has all the skill set in the world, but I see that guy and I'm like, bro, that's the fucking Terminator right there, bro.
He's a scary dude.
Yeah,
and he's
bro.
so big.
Coming right out of the Amazon, doesn't give a fuck
Yeah,
about
right
the world.
out of
bro.
the
Just
Amazon.
gonna fuck you up, bro.
Yeah, I mean, literally, his nickname Poeton is that language of his tribe. You see when he dresses up in the traditional garb, and when he walks out and he fucking draws the bow back.
Oh, I fucking love it, bro. Like he doesn't give a fuck what the world is thinking. It's like, this is who I am. Get ready for it, bro.
Yeah, he's such a knockout artist too. Like even in
there he goes.
kickboxing, that motherfucker's so scary.
That's an iconic picture right there, man.
Look at that. He
Brought it back to the village,
his
bro.
title to his indigenous reservation, back to Brazil. Incredible. It was incredible. I'm fucking pumped for that, man. That's a skip. But Izzy almost had him.
First round.
Woo!
That and then to fight with a busted eardrum because he was bleeding out his fucking eardrum. But it looked like Pereira.
Yeah.
That's one of the worst things that could happen to you in the first round is your equilibrium get fucking killed like that.
Yeah.
Who do you got in the?
I don't know. I mean, look, if Izzy can catch him again, but catch him earlier, like where he's got time to put him away, it can happen. That was the most hurt anybody did. Even though Pereira stopped him, he stopped him with like a big barrage of shots. Izzy cracked him, and he had that dude on Queer Street.
He hit him on the skates.
And then he hit him with that left hook like at the buzzer.
Yeah. No, another 5 seconds.
Yeah.
That doesn't get out of the first
Yeah,
round.
another 5 seconds, the fight is over. And Izzy's such a sharpshooter.
Yeah.
But man, Pereira got him. Like, you can't take that away. I mean, Izzy was winning that fight, but Pereira took it all away in the 5th round. So who fucking knows, man? I'm just gonna be.
And it's very intriguing to me because Izzy's defensive wrestling is pretty on point. You know, he's demonstrated over the time. He has a great defense, you know, numbers-wise. Pereira, I don't know how well he'll do against a lot of these other guys that are going to be like, I'm not striking with you, bro. I'm just going to straight fucking dive for your legs. It's going to be interesting to see because you could see on the ground he's not efficient yet. He's not, you know, he's a tough motherfucker. But, yeah, he doesn't know quite what he's doing. They have wrist control on him. He's a little bit lost in some positions.
When Izzy had his back, he looked lost.
Yeah.
And you got to imagine if Robert Whittaker gets his back like that, that's a real problem.
Yeah. And Whittaker could wrestle defensively, offensively.
Now
I think he's one of the best middleweights.
Eblin coming up to 85 in the UFC. Imagine him leaving Bellator and his contract is up. I mean, that quality of wrestler.
I'm putting my money on it. Eblen beats everybody at UFC. I've been advocating for this guy for a while because I fucking lived it with him. I've gone to war with him. I've seen what he does against top-notch wrestlers. I never like to mention names, but I've seen this guy crush the best of the best. Doesn't matter what discipline they're at. Everybody comes to the American Top Team at some point, and I've seen this guy just go to fucking war with people and put him on. You know,
I believe it. I believe it because the way he handled Mousasi on the feet.
That's when the whole world came to find out. But going into that fight, and I'm a huge Mousasi fan, you know, because
Mousasi's a bad motherfucker.
Classy dude, bro.
I was really bummed out when he left the UFC. I was like, God damn it.
Yeah, it was like kind of weird, you know.
Yeah,
they
didn't appreciate him enough.
They didn't, you know. And he has a great fucking style, bro.
Oh, amazing style.
With the Bellator crush, and then just I'm telling you, Johnny's a problem in more ways than one.
I believe it.
He's fucking. I think he'd beat Pereira right now, or Izzy, bro. It's not to diss on those guys or anything, but man, I'm telling you, Johnny Eblen is the fucking truth.
Is he happy at Bellator? Can he be coaxed?
I know. I know he earns a nice check at Bellator.
I'm sure Bellator's got to keep people there. I mean, they have to spend that money.
But you know, like everybody, man, you want to say I'm the number one without question and doubt.
Yes.
If they're saying those guys over there are the best, I want to fucking that's something that I wish UFC here and there would at least do every once in a while. I just bring them over for one fight.
Well,
Let's see what
they
happens.
tried that with Pride, but Pride fucked them. Remember when they had Vanderlei come over and Chuck, and then Chuck went over to Pride and fought in Pride when he was a star in the UFC, and he got beat in Pride, but then they wouldn't let anybody come over here, and then the UFC had to buy Pride, and then it turns out they weren't even buying Pride. They were just buying a digital library, and the whole thing was a mess. The contracts were all bad, so then they never got Fedor, and then...
Fedor in his prime here.
Oh! He was the baddest motherfucker ever in the heavyweight division, in my eyes. In my eyes. I mean, I feel like the only thing that comes close to me is Cain Velasquez in his prime.
Yeah.
Cain Velasquez in his prime was a juggernaut. He just would not stop. And his cardio was just insanity.
He'd be the guy to like challenge like an Ngannou in his prime. I know they fought, but like in his prime, like 9 attempts per round for takedowns.
Well, it's like when we talk about Marab, like that crazy gas tank, almost like born with it. That's Cain.
And power.
Yes. Yeah. When he knocked out Nogueira. Oh, my God.
Fedor, though, just had like an uncanny ability to take you off your feet, whether it was like a sambo throw or like a fucking right hand, and then he'd like cross body, like lock you and fucking dump you on your head, and then the meanest ground and pound that we've seen, bro.
His striking was so good. I mean, he walked down Crow Cop. Most of that fight was a stand-up fight, and he's fighting one of the baddest motherfuckers to ever kickbox.
No, Fedor in his prime.
He was special.
When they show like the Pride fights were like what, Friday or something like that. I remember maybe it was Saturday, I don't know, but I know it'd be. I don't think it was Saturday. Maybe it was like Friday.
It was weird shit because it was like like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
I'd have dudes come over to my house from jiu-jitsu at like 4 in the morning. We'd be watching the fights live from Japan.
That's how we were too. Me and all the fucking junkies like.
Pride.
And then they came up with Dreams.
Yeah.
And St. Goku. Oh man. That was some good times, bro.
Yeah, some good times. I mean, it's pretty wild to think that the sport has really only been around in a popular sense since the early 1990s. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Martial arts has been around for thousands of years. The oldest sport ever.
Oldest sport. It was the first Olympic sport. It was fighting, right?
Yeah, pancration.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is what has become the biggest, most popular sport now. But it took the UFC spending all that money
$40 million
and just putting it on. They were so close to quitting.
Yeah.
Like Lorenzo Fertitta called Dana White and said, "Look, I can't lose my family's money. We got to sell this." And then he changed his mind. Said, "You know what? This is what we'll do. Let's finance the Ultimate Fighter. We'll pay for it. We'll do that and see if that works." And then, boom.
To the
That's
moon.
it. That's
that was crazy. I remember watching that Fight Life still. Rest in peace of Stephan Bonner. That was a fucking good fight, you know. And then you hear the story behind it is like ratings started going up. People are calling each other, you need to watch this fight. And then all of a sudden, pop, household names. Everybody's fucking watching the UFC. Because I was competing before Ultimate Fighter. So I already was like heavily involved in the UFC since I've been 10, 11 years old. It was the only thing I consumed, you know. So when that happened, it was like a change of the guards right away, man.
Yeah, and that was 2005. Pretty crazy. Spike TV, which doesn't even exist anymore.
No way.
Yeah, Spike TV doesn't exist anymore. It became Paramount, and then it just went away.
I
don't know what it is now. I mean, I think Paramount is like, it's just an app now. I think Paramount is just a streaming service. I might be wrong about that. But This fight was just fucking chaos. These guys just beat the shit out of each other.
This is good to see. I hadn't seen this one in a minute.
What's really amazing, and no disrespect to these guys, but how much better people are today. That's what's amazing.
Yeah.
The evolution of the sport from 2005 to 2023 is just unprecedented. 18 years later, everybody's just above and beyond. You're seeing guys competing for their first fight in the UFC, and they're world class.
They look fucking
clean.
Into striking, the wrestling, the conditioning, the jiu-jitsu.
No, it's a beautiful sport. And it's an amazing time, and I'm very pumped to see your fight, man. And so that's 2.5 weeks.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm very excited, and good luck with your promotion, which is April 1st. Tell people how they can get that.
If you want to go live, Ticketmaster at the Pfizer Forum. I always pronounce that one.
Where's that at?
Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
Oh,
okay.
And,
so it's near Pettis' hometown.
Yeah, no, it's Pettis' hometown.
Nice.
Also, we got Pro Gonzalez is from Chicago, not too far away, competing on the card as well. It's gonna be a fucking hell of a fucking fight. And you can buy the digital rights to it on UFC Fight Pass, which is only the second time in history the UFC has collaborated with somebody else to do something like that. So I'm fucking extremely honored, man, that we're getting to do this. And then, of course, you could watch it on pay-per-view anywhere, Comcast, digital, you know. And you could also go to pay-per-view.com.
Jose Aldo, Jacare Souza, Vitor Belfort. That's exciting. That's very exciting.
Sure, yes,
I'm
sir.
fucking pumped.
Sure, yes, sir.
Jorge, you're the fucking man. Appreciate
You're
you,
the
brother.
man, brother.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
God bless you,
God
bro.
bless you too, brother.
You're a fucking,
All right.
let me say just one thing.
Yeah.
I love that you always speak up for this country and you're a fucking patriot, because guys like you got so much more to lose than fucking everybody else. And people don't understand. It takes real fucking courage for you to sit there and say these things and express it to the fucking millions around the world of what's happening here. So for that, brother, I am always fucking thankful to you. God bless you. God bless all your family. Let's keep America great.
I feel the same way about you. Thank you very much. Appreciate you, brother. Bye, everybody.